Okay, good morning. Today is Thursday, December 18th, and this is the time and place for the regularly scheduled Nevada Gaming Commission meeting for the month of December. If you would please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Secretary, has our agenda been posted in accordance with the open meeting law?
Yes, it has.
At this time, I would like to remind anyone coming to the podium to speak, we ask that you speak directly into the microphone and speak as clearly as possible, as this meeting is being both recorded and transcribed. Madam Secretary, if we could please proceed with our first agenda item, public comments.
This item is placed on the agenda to give the public an opportunity to comment on gaming-related matters.
All right, anyone who wishes to address the commission may do so at this time. Matters brought to our attention during public comment cannot be acted upon, but we are happy to hear comments from the public as well as any from my fellow commissioners. Comments by all will be limited to 3 minutes as a reasonable time, place, and manner restriction. If any of my fellow commissioners or myself ask any questions of the speaker, the time needed to address those questions will not be held against those time constraints. If you have any handouts or copies of your comments to provide, please do not approach the dais with them. An enforcement agent will take them from you and make them part of the record. We will first go to Carson City. Anyone present in Carson City who wishes to make a public comment? And the record should reflect there is no one standing at the podium in Carson City to make a public comment. Here in Las Vegas. Good morning.
Good morning. Ira Duyanen for the Culinary Union, DUYANEN. My comments are about Durango Casino and Resorts Vice President and General Manager David Horn. Last week, we contacted the Nevada Gaming Control Board about Mr. Horn's gaming license history and was informed that he was first registered in June 2006. On February 2024, the Nevada Gaming Commission approved his application for licensure as a key employee at Durango. An employer and a GM like David Horn violates federal labor law by encouraging, promoting, or providing assistance to employees seeking to decertify their union. On January 11, 2020, Horn, who at the time was Palace Station's VP and GM, texted a colleague and referred to the station casino's Senior Vice President of Labor Relations and Strategy. He says to get me the names of the people who can help with decertification, but don't get directly involved. The term decertification refers to a process of a union status as a bargaining representative is eliminated. By February 25th, 2020, a little over a month after the Horn text, Station Casino's corporate HR department was in possession of a document entitled Corporate Human Resources Project List. One line on that document reads, Underground Decertification Strategy Ongoing. Station Casinos withdrew recognition from the union at Palace Station on February 21st. The next day, GM Horn texted Terry D. I got the decertification of the union completed. We submitted to them yesterday. Fucking lost part of my life in that process. Craziest deal ever. In the span of 9 months, GM Horn's statements went from don't get directly involved to I got a decertification of the union completed. If GM Horn were directed to assist station casinos in violating federal tax law, we assume you would have a serious problem with that. We also assume that if the National Labor Relations Board finds that GM Horn was directed to assist station casinos in violating federal labor law by supporting a decertification effort, you would have a serious problem with that too. We believe a Nevada gaming license holder who is a vice president, and general manager of a casino resort should be held accountable for any role he may be found to have played in a non-lawful activity. And at the very least, the board should have a zero tolerance for underground strategies that undermine the stability of the industry. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Thomas Principe with Culinary Union. My name is Thomas Principe. I am 24 years old. I have been a part-time bellman at Green Valley Ranch for 11 months. Before my job at Station Casinos, I was working as a part-time bellman at the Mirage, where I had a Culinary Union contract. At the Mirage, I was getting 30 hours a week, 8 hours guaranteed a day, and $17 starting hourly pay with guaranteed raises. I was living by myself and was comfortable financially. Now working at Green Valley Ranch, I am only making $13 an hour. Sometimes I check our weekly schedule and am disappointed by seeing only 8 hours posted for the entire week. I'm rarely given a full eight-hour shift. I usually work odd hours, such as 5 or 7 hours for the day. I feel as though I am not truly a part-timer, but a glorified on-call worker, and that's hoping that I do get called in. I'm currently living back home with my parents, and with the rising price of living today, I don't know how I could even be able to live on my own with the Green Valley Ranch current wages and hours. When I was covered by a contract with the Culinary Union, I felt safe knowing that I had protection for work hours and a livable wage. 9 years ago, GVR workers voted to go union with a 78% vote. A union contract gives transparency and, most importantly, respect to someone like me who is just trying to survive. Workers at Station Casinos deserve these things. And I ask you, the Nevada gaming regulators, to take what younger people like me say very seriously. Because if younger people don't see that they have an opportunity for a career in this industry, then the industry's future may be in trouble. Thank you for your listening and your understanding.
Thank you. Is there anyone else present who wishes to make public comment? Do you want to give those to the agent? Thank you. All right, there appearing to be no other public comments. That would close our public comment section. And Madam Secretary, if you would please read in the next agenda item, approval of the prior month's disposition.
Pursuant to NRS 241.035, this item is the consideration of the approval of the Nevada Gaming Commission disposition for November 2025.
Right, I believe we've all had an opportunity to review the prior month's disposition. Any discussion or comments? There being none, does anyone have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move for approval of the prior month's disposition.
Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And there are none opposed. Thank you. Madam Secretary, could you please read in the non-restricted consent items?
Your items on the non-restricted consent agenda this morning are items 4, 9, 14, 15, 17, and 18. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval with conditions as noted on the agenda.
Okay, so we have non-restricted number 4 and non-restricted number 9, who each have orders of registration. NR4 is the 62nd revised order of registration, draft number 1 dated November 4th, 2025. And non-restricted number 9 pursuant is a 9th revised order of registration, draft number 2 dated December 1st, 2025. And so with those understandings and presuming that would need to be part of the motion, does anyone have a motion on the non-restricted consent items?
Madam Chair, I'm happy to make a motion, but I also had a disclosure with respect to non-restricted item number 15. My spouse is employed by the Westgate, the Nevada property operated by GV Tenant Inc. through its subsidiaries. I have no information or beyond what's been provided to all of the commission members by board staff, and I have no pecuniary interest in the item before us. I do not believe the independence or judgment of a reasonable person in my circumstances would be materially affected by these facts, and I intend to vote on the item.
Okay, thank you.
With respect to the motion, I move to approve consent items number 4 pursuant to the 62nd, draft 1 of the 62nd order of registration. Item number 9 with respect to the 9th revised order of registration, and that was draft 2.
Yes.
Items number 14, 15, 17, and 18, as read into the record by Madam Secretary and is recommended by the Gaming Control Board with the conditions incorporated therein.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And there are none opposed. Thank you. Madam Secretary, could you please read in the restricted consent items?
Your items on the restricted consent agenda this morning are items 4 through 11. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval with conditions as noted on the agenda.
All right. If there are no questions or comments, I believe this consent agenda items, agenda for consent items is ripe for a motion.
Madam Chair, with respect to restricted items number 4 through 11th, I move for approval as recommended by the Gaming Control Board and as recommended by the, as recommended by the Gaming Control Board and as read into the record.
Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye. And there are none opposed. Thank you very much. Madam Secretary, if you could please read in the new game consent item.
Your item on the new game consent agenda this morning is item O1. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval.
All right, any comments before I call for a motion? There being none,
Madam Chair, I move for approval of new game number 1, Blueberry Beacon, as read into the record by Madam Secretary and is recommended by the Gaming Control Board.
any discussion on the motion?
No.
There being none, all in favor, say aye. And there are none opposed. Thank you. That now brings us to the non-restricted items held out for discussion. Madam Secretary, if you could please read in non-restricted number 1.
Non-restricted number 1 are the applications of Boomers Sportsbook LLC, doing business as Boomers Sportsbook, doing business as Mizpah Club, Racebook and Sports Pool, doing business at Mizpah Club for a non-restricted gaming license, Racebook and Sports Pool only, and for licensure to conduct off-track pari-mutuel race and sports wagering. It is also the applications of Longshot LLC, doing business as Mizpah Club, to receive a percentage of gaming revenue from the Racebook and Sports Pool, including off-track pari-mutuel race and sports wagering, operated by Boomer Sportsbook, doing business as Mizpah Club, Racebook and Sports Pool, and to add, remove, or modify a condition. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval with conditions as noted on the agenda.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners, Madam Secretary, members of the board, Secretary Rupert. My name is Joe Asher. I'm the president and CEO of Boomer Sportsbook, Nevada's only independent sportsbook. With me today is Gina Cervone, our Vice President of Legal and Compliance. And also here today is Ramsey Klein, who's the licensee and the operator of the Mizpah Club in Tonopah. It's been a pleasure working with Ramsey, and I appreciate his partnership. At the outset, I'd like to thank the board staff and especially Senior Agent Julie Perchonzi for their work on this application. This application is for Boomers to operate a race and sports betting kiosk at the Mizpah Club. It's a fairly straightforward application. If you approve, this would be our 6th location. But I should add that we still must obtain the Nye County gaming license, so we will not be able to open until the next calendar year. We have another 5 applications currently pending with the board and just signed another contract yesterday. So we're making good progress towards building out the statewide network we have spoken about in our prior meetings. Our customer offering is focused on a great product with excellent service at a fair price. We've talked about our $250 deposit match sign-up offer, our -105 promotion on all NFL regular season games. But our pricing advantage to the consumer goes well beyond that. So we're consistently telling people to check the price that we offer and what our competitors offer, and then do what's best for them. Beyond pricing, our promotional offerings are really attractive, and we're striving to provide excellent customer service, not only in our staffed sportsbook locations, but also with a customer support team here in Las Vegas, where customers can call and talk to a live person instead of being forced to text with a chatbot or sending us an email. I know you have a lot of folks waiting this morning, so I'll stop there, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. But thank you for your time and consideration.
I feel like you're here so often, you could side job as an enrolled agent. You literally sound like all the attorneys presenting. Anyway, so thank you for that. Thank you for being here today. We appreciate seeing you again. At this time, I'm going to ask, I'll start on my right, if that's okay. Commissioners Solis Rainey.
Thank you, Mr. Asher, for being here today. It's always a pleasure to hear from you, and congratulations on the growth. I just wanted to clarify a little bit. What's the process for employees signing up at the casino? I know you were going to geofence.
For customers
Yeah.
to sign up, there's you basically can do it all on your phone. So you really sign up for an account on the phone. You scan the barcode on your license. You scan the your driver's license. You take a selfie as well. But you have to be physically present in the casino in order for the account to be verified. And there's a beacon that's adjacent to the sports betting kiosk that finds your location. So when you do go to the Mid-Spa Club, you submit your information. It's then checked by someone in our customer service team here in Las Vegas, who then is able to identify whether or not the customer is physically present at the sports book.
Okay, and is that the people here in Las Vegas, are those individuals operating 24 hours a day?
It's not 24 hours a day. They go until I think it's about 10 o'clock at night, and then again in the morning. So you can't sign up 24 hours a day. Once you have your account, then you can bet.
Right, would the customer just get a message saying it's closed until such and such a time or something?
They would get a message telling them what time to come back.
Okay.
Or
Do
what the hours are. Yes.
So they'd have to physically come back during the times that somebody is available to verify?
I believe the answer to that is yes, Commissioner.
Okay. And other than, obviously that person is in Las Vegas, so you're not going to physically have any staff at the MISPA?
Correct.
You were going to, I believe I remember from the board meeting, you were going to maybe cross register some of the employees there.
Correct.
And are those employees receiving training on what you need them to do from the kiosk side?
Yes, they're receiving training on how the kiosk works, how the sign up process works. We're also incentivizing them to assist with signups as well.
Okay. So they'd be available to the customer if they physically didn't know what to do on their phone.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any other questions or concerns. Thank you.
Commissioner Krolicki?
Thank you, Chair Tagliati. Good morning, Mr. Asher, Mr. Vaughn, and Mr. Klein. Always a pleasure to see you and to watch your activities around the state. Mr. Asher, I loved your term of, Tonopah is a place that's near and dear to me because it's equidistant between Las Vegas and Carson City when I was doing the drive every week, just about. So always appreciate, but island in the desert, is that an official tourism term for Tonopah now?
Well, I think Gina or Ramsey coined it, but it's apt.
It is apt. It is one of my favorite places. So, Mr. Klein, I actually have a few questions for you, but all easy. The MISPA has been in front of us several items over, the recent months. And besides regaling about spirits and Senator Pittman having being kept on ice and Jim Butler days. Unless you've got anything to add, I'll skip those things, but anything on the history of the Met Spa?
No new history. So that might be a good thing. But Tonopah is in a really interesting spot right now with the price of gold. It's like a boom town again.
Yep.
Which is great. It's great for the local economy and great for everything else.
Well, Jim Butler would be appreciative of that, even though he was the silver guy. I'm sure he was appreciative that there's gold. The Klein family, you've been doing so many things in Tonopah, but it's the family from wine country, correct?
Yes, sir.
And how are you related to that family?
Fred and Nancy Klein are my parents.
They're your parents. Is Kate Kelly part of the Klein family?
Kate Kelly.
Does that ring a bell?
It does not ring a bell, sir.
It's not. All right. But again, I just appreciate all that your family has done for the island in the desert. Tonopah is a very special place, and I'm very happy to support the application today.
Well, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here again. I just had a quick question, and it was just sheer curiosity. I had noted that at the MITSPA, there was no gaming between 2000 and 2013, and I was just curious if you were aware of why that was during that time period?
Yes. So the hotel had been shuttered. The local economy had actually gone through a really hard bust. The local economy was dependent on mining and the test site. And in the 90s, the test site wound down dramatically with the end of the Cold War, and that spilled over into the town. So the town's population went from, I believe, around 5,000 or 6,000 to under 2,000. And that forced the closure of the MISPA. And then I think there was also some shady dealings towards the end of the 90s in the MISPA. Someone lost their gaming license and a new operator came in. So it was just a perfect storm of things that shut down the MISPA. That was before our involvement in the town.
Well, thank you for that. I'm happy to support your applications today, and it's very straightforward. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Yes, as everyone has said, thank you. Good to see you again, Mr. Asher. And just clarifying, again, could you just revise the numbers? How many team members you actually employ with all these locations now? Was it around 50?
Yes, sir. Right now it's 52. I think 43 are full-time, 9 part-time.
And you have no difficulty finding people in these regions?
I would say no difficulty, but we're able to find them.
Well, good for you. The kiosk, this one opens tomorrow, the 19th? Is that what I heard at the Gaming Control Board, or was there a different?
No, we don't have an opening
Good,
date as of this
sure.
time because we've
Okay.
not yet received the Nye County gaming license. The next hearings of the licensing board aren't until January, so it won't be this calendar year, but we do not have a specific date yet.
So you're certain you will be getting it somewhere in January before you can go ahead and open?
Well, that's up to the sheriff and the licensing board, so I wouldn't want to be presumptuous about it, but we're trying. We're certainly trying. We're making our efforts and we're trying. The process has been more difficult and challenging than we might have expected initially. But there's been back and forth with the licensing board as recently as yesterday.
Well, good luck with that then. Thank you. I have no further questions, Chair.
I don't have any additional questions beyond what was discussed at the board and what my colleagues have talked about today. And I think, again, we appreciate you being here, and I would ask if who would like to make a motion.
I'll make it since my microphone's on. Madam Chair, I move for the approval of non-restricted item 1 as read into the record by Madam Secretary and as recommended by the Nevada Gaming Control Board.
Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And there are none opposed. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, if you could please read in non-restricted number 2.
Non-restricted number 2 are the applications of Stella David for finding of suitability and or licensure as an officer, director, and or key executive as noted on the agenda. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chair Tagliati, Commissioners, Madam Secretary. For the record, I am Erica Okerberg. I'm Nevada Gaming Counsel to Entain. Here with me today is the applicant and the company's CEO, Stella David. She is a first-time applicant in Nevada, so she's going to share with you a little bit about her background and tell you about her current duties and responsibilities.
Thank you. And good morning, Chair Togliatti and also Commissioners. It's a pleasure to be here. I am Stella David, and I'll just give you a little bit of background on me, if I may. I earned my degree a long time ago in engineering at Cambridge University in England. And as to my professional background, I worked for Bacardi Limited for 15 years and held various roles, including marketing director in the UK, regional CEO and president, and also finally chief marketing officer and a member of the executive committee. I left there in 2009 for my first group CEO role with a company called William Grant & Sons, a role which I held for the next 7 years. I also served as an independent director of the Nationwide Building Society from 2003 through to 2010. And from 2012 through to 2021, I was a non-executive director of C&J Clark's board with tenures both as chair and also interim CEO. More recently, I've served as director on the boards of HomeServe PLC, Domino's Pizzas Group PLC, and View International. I'm currently the CEO of and a director of Entain, a member of the BetMGM board and members representatives. I also serve as a chair of the board of Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings and a non-executive director of Bacardi Limited. As to my role with Entain, I joined the company back in March 2021 as a non-executive director. And then from December 2023 through to August 2024, I served as the interim CEO. In September 2024, I was appointed the chair of the board, but then back in February 2025, I was again appointed as the interim CEO, and in April 2025, I was named as the permanent CEO. As CEO of Entain, I am responsible for the overall leadership, management and performance of the company. I ensure the execution of the company's strategy, the maintenance of operational excellence, and that the company upholds the highest standards of corporate governance and regulatory compliance. I report to the chair of the board, Pierre Bouchot, and also the board of directors. And I would be very happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. This might be something you can't answer, and maybe Ms. Okerberg, if you could answer it, if you know. We have a list of your approvals and pending applications in other jurisdictions, and I realize you're not in control of any of these things, but I was just curious, in New York and in Louisiana, there are applications for associated person and qualifier respectively that have been pending for 4.5 years. Is that?
I'm going to have to ask Erica to help me out on that one.
Yes.
Did you forget? You have, by the way, you have applications pending in New York and Louisiana that you filed for 4.5 years ago. Just in case you forgot.
Yes, Chair Tagliati, those processes can take a little bit longer in some of those jurisdictions. Similar to Nevada, you're allowed to serve in your roles while the application is pending. I'd be happy to check with the company's licensing council and come back to you if they have an estimated time frame. But as I understand, there's nothing outside of the ordinary course.
I see. And it's not, I don't have any concerns that there's any issues necessarily. I was just curious, is that typical?
Sure. And I have to admit, I'm not sure what the delay is in that case, but I know that it has nothing to do with her suitability.
Well, and that was my caveat. I know you have no control over it and has nothing to do with this necessarily. I was just interested. I'm going to ask my colleagues. I'll start on my right. Commissioner Krolicki.
Thank you, Chair Tagliati. David, thank you for being here. Pleasure to see you today and to meet you face to face. I've been watching you on the screen, if you will, with the Gaming Control Board. Ms. Erica Okerberg, thank you for doing your job exquisitely well all the time. My questions really are about your board service, and for the record, I envy the boards you currently sit on and previously have some of my favorite beverages and food groups. So good on you. But this is a conversation I have regularly with folks who sit on multiple boards, and it's just a matter of bandwidth. Being CEO of Entain is not a small endeavor; it's a massive one, and it is profoundly consuming. Yet you still sit on corporate boards and even as chair in some capacity. But could you talk about not just those not the companies, but your specific roles and which committee assignments you have on those companies, please?
Of course. First of all, I'd just like to say that I take my bandwidth extremely seriously, because I think you raise a great point, which is I should only do work that I feel I can do to the best of my ability. And I believe I do that. In terms of sitting on the board of Norwegian Cruise Lines, I'm the chair of the board, and I don't chair any other committees, though I do sit on a couple of committees. The board meets typically 4 times a year. So it's.
You sit on the audit committee as well?
No, I don't. No, I don't sit on the audit committee. Nom-and-gov, I would sit on Nomination and Governance Committee, which is very much
gentle
about people.
Assignments.
Yeah, gentle. Well, actually, the most important assignments, getting the right people in the organization. Get it wrong and you have a huge problem. So I think it's a great committee to sit on. At Bacardi, it's a family-owned business. I've been associated with that business for many years. I worked there as an executive for 15 years. So I do know the business extremely well. So I feel I have the capacity to add value to that business because my learning curve has always been very, it was done many years ago. And the same true with Norwegian Cruise Lines. I've been involved with them for over 9 years now. So I do know the business very well.
Is Bacardi a public company?
No, it's privately owned. It's still
So
privately
the
owned by the Bacardi
disclosure
family.
rhythms are not a burden for you.
Yeah. Correct.
your discussions with the control board on a variety of issues were very informative. And again, with the length of agenda, I'll take the conversation with the gaming control board, into consideration here and not make you repeat yourself. But I too, I just, you've been incredibly successful. It's wonderful to watch your successes, and hopefully Entain will be your next great success. And I'm happy to support your application today.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Ms. David, thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure to see an applicant face to face. It's a completely different interaction, obviously, than Zoom. I had no concerns. I mean, you're eminently qualified. I think you've demonstrated that you are capable of not just this job, but maintaining the quality of your work on the other two boards that you serve. So I didn't have any concerns, and I'm happy to support your application.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Commissioner Marcantonis?
Concerns none. Amazing background and career. Congratulations, Ms. David. And I do have a question though, because as we've been asking over the past 6-9 months, our hotel individuals, how they see the travel industry shaping up. We're seeing some theoretically slow down in Las Vegas, but your role with Norwegian Cruise Lines, how is the cruise industry faring in the current economic climate from tourism and travel?
Well, I think it's faring very, very well, but I think also there's been some history that has been challenging. I mean, we go back to COVID, there was 500 days straight when there wasn't a single sailing. So all of the cruise line industry took a huge hit from that. But the fundamental drivers of people wanting to go on cruises is as strong as ever. And the US, I think it's still around about 50% of all cruises come from the US. And the East Coast is hugely important. Miami is the center of cruising. And so the demand is looking very positive. There was some drop off for a while with Europeans perhaps not wanting to come on cruises in the US for a while, but that I think has normalized back normally again. So I think there's been, it's positive, very, very positive. Yeah.
Well, that's good news. And of course, when you look at your background, and as you alluded to it in your gaming control board, you're still living in the United Kingdom.
I am, yes.
How do you balance your time with all of these things? I mean,
go
ahead. Just as an example, and for the record, for people who can see you as a role model about how do you juggle all these balls?
I'm completely not balanced, I think, really, in terms of the way, No, I mean, I think you have to want to work, a lot. And I think it depends on, your personal commitments. I have a very understanding husband who hopefully is not watching this video because I don't want him to know that. But he's very good at kind of making sure that he realizes that it makes me happy. And I like working. And, other things sometimes take second place, particularly on holiday when I'm always taking work calls. But it keeps me happy. I'd rather take the work calls than things, run out of control. So, I think it depends what motivates you in life. Yeah.
Well, no hesitation at all in supporting your application today. Thank you for being here and congratulations on an
Thank you very
amazing,
much.
exemplary career. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Tagliati, and thank you for being here in person as well. I echo the comments of my colleagues. Your background is amazing. It's awesome to see a woman in the role of CEO of one of these biggest gaming companies. So congratulations to you and welcome to Nevada.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. I've actually gone red now, but thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, I don't have any additional questions for you. Every once in a while we have people who appear before us and, it's hard to get a feel for their personality in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but just watching you with the board and here with us today, I'm sure everyone that works with you just really enjoys it. You have a lovely personality, just a happy person. There you go. That's nice. And so it's a pleasure to meet you today. And I absolutely support your application. So I'm going to look to one of my colleagues to make a motion. Commissioner Marcantonis.
Certainly. Madam Chair, I move for approval of non-restricted item number 2 as read into the record by Madam Secretary, Ms. Nicole Rupert, and as recommended by Nevada's Gaming Control Board. Thank you.
Any discussion on the motion?
No.
There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And there are none opposed. Congratulations. Very nice to meet you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Madam Secretary, if you could please read in non-restricted number 3.
Non-restricted number 3 are the applications of Jonathan Halkyard for finding of suitability and or licensure as an officer and or key executive as noted on the agenda. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval, and I believe we have a disclosure on this item.
Chair Tagliati, I do have a disclosure to make. Mr. Halkyard mentioned in front of the Gaming Control Board that he had a wonderful stint at Harrah's Lake Tahoe, and he was my neighbor. And he and his wife Kari and his 3 boys became friendly, certainly with my family, my wife, and my 3 daughters. You know, how convenient. We had always speculated about that. But we socialized over the years, and I just want to make sure that's clearly on the record. But I conclude that the independence of judgment of a reasonable person in my situation would not be materially affected by this relationship. I therefore intend to fully participate in the consideration of this matter today.
Thank you. Sorry. All right. Welcome. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Chair Tagliati. For the record, my name is Chandler Pohl, Vice President and Legal Counsel for MGM Resorts. Commissioners, Executive Secretary with me is Jonathan Halkyard, appearing for a finding of suitability in front of you as the Chief Financial Officer of MGM Resorts International, as well as the other positions and entities listed on this agenda. If it may please the Commission, Jonathan will do a brief background of his employment and community involvement and then take questions.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Good morning, Chair Tagliati, Commissioners. It's good to see you this morning. I'm Jonathan Halkyard. I'm Chief Financial Officer of MGM Resorts. I'll give just a brief overview of my background. I was raised on the East Coast in New Jersey. My wife, Carrie, and I came out to Nevada in 1997. I began my career in the game industry in 1999. And that was with a move up to Lake Tahoe, the Commissioner Krolik mentioned, a wonderful 3 years at Harrah's Lake Tahoe. I continued my career back here in Las Vegas with Harrah's and then Caesars Entertainment, and stayed with Caesars, ultimately becoming the CFO of Caesars Entertainment in 2006. I left Caesars in 2012 and had a relatively brief stint as CFO of NV Energy here in Nevada, a time that coincided actually with the acquisition of NV Energy by Berkshire Hathaway. So I left NV Energy, and my family and I, we moved to North Carolina, where I had a role in the hotel industry with Extended Stay America. Was the COO, CFO, and then ultimately CEO there. I left there in 2019, and then in 2020 was fortunate enough to be asked to join MGM Resorts as the CFO. So it's been very gratifying to return back to Nevada with Carrie and also join this industry once again. In terms of my other involvements, I'm on the board of directors of a payments company called Shift4 Payments, a public company. I've been on that board for about 5 years. And then in the nonprofit world, my main activity is nearly impossible to ask of filling Don Snyder's shoes as the chair of the Smith Center for the Performing Arts. I was on that board before, starting back in 2008, and I rejoined it when I came back to Nevada, and I became the chair about a year ago, which has been a very gratifying activity for me. So that's just a quick overview, and I'm happy to answer any questions the commission has.
Thank you. Appreciate you being here today. And I will go ahead and ask my colleagues if you have any questions or comments.
Mr. Hacker, thank you for being here today. I had a quick question finally regarding timing. We show in our materials that the application was filed in February of 2021. What's been the delay between then and now? Is it, I mean, I know you've filed multiple amendments, but.
Oh, yeah, Chandler Pohl for the record. Part of it was job title changes, duty changes, and then also just timing of wanting to make an in-person appearance at both the board and the commission.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know our board works very, very hard and generally doesn't, wouldn't take us that long to process it. So I didn't know if it was something internally that was causing the delay. Other than, I have no questions or concerns regarding your background. I mean, you're very qualified for the role, and, I think MGM is lucky to have you. I was just curious about the timeline. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Tagliani. Mr. Halkyard, very nice to see you this morning. It is a great pleasure. And Mr. Paul and Commissioner Solis-Rainey, I think some of the Gaming Control Board changes also was a reason why some of this process has been delayed. Seems like most of the agents and folks who were assigned to you had life changes or career changes and things. So I think there's also some of that going on. Mr. Halkard, it is a joy to see you today. I don't know if it was in 1999 when you moved to Lake Tahoe, but I think we met immediately. And it's, you had no gray hair back then. You still don't have very much, but it's all good. But it's been a pleasure to watch you pursue your career as you have. You've just been successful at everything you've done, and people keep grabbing you and wanting you to do new things. And when the news of you coming back to Nevada to have this role with MGM, many smiled. And you and Carrie have always been generous to the community. I think you did the ballet, or maybe that was her job or assignment. But the Smith Center is one of the jewels of the state, certainly Las Vegas. Myron Martin is one of my very favorite people, in the world. He served on our Sesquicentennial Commission, and we had lovely events, pertaining to Nevada's 150th birthday. So, Mr. Snyder is impossible to fill shoes behind, but I think you will create your own path forward and do an exquisite job. A couple things about history that, because I have certain insights, I think your original arrival in Nevada was interesting. And Judge Assad had mentioned, the Harvard credential. He's always very proud to point those things out. But one of your professors, I believe, was Mr. Loveman. And when he entered the gaming world here in Nevada, he may have brought you here, but I think that's an interesting perspective and foundation of how you originally got to Nevada. Do you want to elaborate on that at all?
I actually, he was there when I was getting my MBA at Harvard Business School. I knew of him. He was a pretty well-known professor. I actually didn't have him in class, but I remember being aware and interested in Harrah's when I got out of business school. And then I think he joined a couple of years after I graduated. And then, of course, when I came to Harrah's, we worked very closely together.
Could you talk a little bit about shift for payments and how much time that takes? And I know they're a public company, but I don't know exactly what they do in your various board assignments.
Sure. Shift for payments, I joined the company upon its IPO. It required 3 independent directors. This was back in the summer of 2020. It's a company, though, that's been around for about 20 years. And it is a payments company. So if you're in a restaurant or in a hotel and the waiter will bring that device to you to insert your credit card and settle your bill. Shift4 Payments does that for restaurants, bars, hotels, stadiums. If you've been, Allegiant Stadium here has Shift4 Payments fueling its ecosystem. The founder, and until recently chairman, is a very interesting and a remarkable person named Jared Isaacman, who yesterday was confirmed as the NASA administrator. Yes. So it was he was the founder of the company, and I now serve as the lead independent director. I chair the audit committee, and just as Stella was saying, we have 4 meetings a year. Usually, actually, one's here in Las Vegas. The rest are different locations and around the country, and so that plus the committee meetings from time to time really represents my involvement there.
Good. Mr. Isaacman's journey to NASA was interesting. It took a long time.
Took a long time.
Not many folks get nominated twice within a few months.
Yeah.
Could you talk when Would you talk a little bit about Osaka and the development? Your CEO was here recently, and we were asking him, and I know the capital commitment of MGM has swayed in currency deviations and things, but could you just give us an update on Osaka and those plans, please?
Sure. The Osaka project is a massive integrated resort under development now. It's under construction. MGM Resorts owns just over 40% of the project, together with a Japanese company called Oryx. Our capital commitment will be just over $3 billion US, spread over about 4 years. And we are probably 10% into that commitment at this point. So the total project costs will be 11 or so billion US at current exchange rates. The project does have a debt facility in place, so the partners are not contributing all of that capital, but that capital has to go in first. So it's a pretty significant commitment for MGM Resorts over the next several years, but the opportunity, the economic opportunity there that we think is pretty much a generational opportunity, and it'll be a really good thing for MGM Resorts and Osaka when it opens in about 4.5 years' time.
Mr. Hornbuckle suggested he was challenging your skill sets as his CFO in this process. But what a fascinating
I'd agree to
time
that.
and opportunity. And so again, this is the bandwidth conversations with, again, you're a very disciplined person to be able to balance all these things. But of the many obligations and licenses you have around the world for gaming, could you talk a little bit about the MGM Macau responsibilities you have? I believe you're CFO of that and sit on that board as well.
I'm not the CFO of MGM China. I do sit on the board of MGM China. So my involvement there is probably more than it is with something like the Osaka property that we just spoke of. We have 4 board meetings a year. At least 3 of those will be in Macau. So I do have to travel there for those meetings 3 or 4 times a year. And then I would say every other week, I'll have a call in the evening with one of the members of the management team there, the CEO or the CFO there, just on business or any topics that we have to discuss.
And for the record, our documents have you as CFO of
MGM.
Macau.
Okay. Then it may be one of the entities there, but as it relates to MGM China,
MGM
or I. Okay.
All right. And again, it's not a big item, but just wanted to point that out. And speaking of licenses, you've not mentioned it at all. But I know other than family and career things, your great passion is being a private pilot. And you got to say something about your flight time. We have people today who have private licenses, but aren't active. We have drone pilots, who are going to be with us today, but you're a very active private flyer, and you want to talk about that?
Sure. It's something I wanted to do since I was a kid. And in 2011, we were living here, of course, and our kids were getting a little bit older. And so I decided if I was ever going to do it, this was the time and place. Nevada is a fantastic place for general aviation. It's become a big part of our lives outside of work and the other things that we do. And so we do enjoy as much as I can to get up in the air. It's just a great joy of our lives.
You work and live fully, again, a tremendous family, and MGM is extraordinarily fortunate to have lured you back to the great state of Nevada and to have your services. And I'm just absolutely delighted and proud to support your application today.
Thank you very much.
Commissioners Marcantonis, Silver.
One question or observation. Mr. Halkyard, yes, amazing background. You've been licensed multiple times, this is not rocket science, but with your involvement with the Smith Center, I'm just curious, slightly digressing, that is the Smith Center obviously in the center almost of the Symphony Park development that's happening downtown? Is that perceived by the board and the Smith Center as something that will assist the center to expand or to continue to be successful? Or any observations about the Symphony Park development versus the Smith Center?
Yeah, it's been incredible because having joined the board of the Smith Center before construction began in 2007, 2008, that timeframe, and then actually having left Nevada for 7 years and to come back and see all of the changes that had occurred in that area in that time, the Symphony Park area and downtown. Without question, it's a good thing for the Smith Center, whether it be audience development or just energy around the Smith Center. It does present some challenges that everyone is dealing with together, just things like parking and those kinds of things. But there's no question that just greater energy and vitality in that immediate area is very good for the Smith Center.
Good. Thank you for that. Very interesting, and good luck going forward.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. You've been licensed many times by this commission and all over the world. Your experience, speaks for itself. So, I'm very happy to support your application, and I didn't have any questions. And thank you for your time to the community with the Smith Center.
Thank you. Thank you.
I also don't have any additional questions. Obviously, we appreciate you being here today, and your background is impeccable. And so at this time, I would ask if there is a motion.
Madam Chair, I'm happy to move for approval of non-restricted item number 3 is read into the record by Madam Secretary and is recommended by the Gaming Control Board.
Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And there are none opposed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, if you could now read in non-restricted number 6, because non-restricted number 5 was referred back to staff at the board meeting. So we're at 6.
Non-restricted number 6 are the applications of Patrick Nichols for finding of suitability and or licensure as a key executive as noted on the agenda. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval, and I believe we have a disclosure on this item.
We do. Thank you, Ms. Rupert. Judge Togliatti, with respect to restricted items 6 and 7, I would like to disclose that I was employed at the Venetian Resort in senior leadership roles from 2015 to 2022. I no longer have any connection to the property, and I have no pecuniary interest in the outcome of the matters before us today. I believe that the independence of judgment of any reasonable person in the same situation would not be materially affected by this past employment relationship, and therefore I intend to fully participate in matters before us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Happy holidays, Chair Tagliati, members of the commission, Executive Secretary Rupert. For the record, I'm Sonia Vermees from the law firm Brownstein Hyatt Farber Schreck. To my right is the applicant. He is Patrick Nichols, the CEO and president of Venetian Las Vegas Gaming. He also holds the role of CEO for the intermediary companies listed on your agenda. Mr. Nichols has been involved in the gaming industry for his entire career, starting after he graduated at Cornell in 2008. He spent several years at Cosmopolitan starting in 2010 and came over to the Venetian in 2022. He would be happy to tell you more about himself and to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chair Tagliati,
Morning.
Commissioners, Madam Secretary. As Sonia mentioned, I'm Patrick Nichols, the President and CEO of the Venetian Resort. I grew up in Minnesota and quite literally grew up in the hospitality industry. So my parents had a number of limited service hotels, 30 to 70 rooms, and I was put to work. You name it, I've done it. Front desk, housekeeping, maintenance, painting, landscaping, learned the business in and out. That led me to the hotel school at Cornell. I graduated in 2008, and joined the Venetian right after the Palazzo had opened, the tail end of the Palazzo. And there was still some mayhem associated with that opening, which I loved. I loved that energy. It was an interesting time in Las Vegas, the middle of the recession. And so I jumped at an opportunity to go to Singapore and open Marina Bay Sands. I spent a year in Singapore, absolutely loved it, and decided that I really enjoyed opening properties. And so I had an opportunity to come back to Vegas to open the Cosmopolitan, and joined the Cosmopolitan a few months before opening and worked my way up there over 12 years, and left in 2022 when I was the general manager, chief strategy officer of the resort, when MGM acquired the resort. At the same time, Apollo was acquiring the Venetian. And I joined in August of 2022 as president and CEO of the Venetian. I live in Summerlin with my wife, 2 kids, and absolutely love Las Vegas.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here today and to meet you. At this time, I would ask Commissioner Marcantonis.
Certainly. Thank you. Mr. Nichols, thank you for being here. And you have a wonderful team in place. If there's a couple thousand watching this today, I repeat that it's probably the most amazing team, I think, in Las Vegas. But you've done a great job since you've been there, looking at all the press of the capital functions that have been upgrading that property. And it seems every week we read of something new being built. One has to jump to the question of what is next. I'd be particularly curious about, since it's not mentioned much, and you've done the ballrooms, you've done the suites, you've done all these amazing restaurants. What is eventually, if anything, is going to happen to that tower you have sitting on the back of a parking garage, on top of a parking garage at the back, the Venezia? Any plans for that?
Are you referring to the Palazzo condo tower out front?
No, actually, the one on at the back there with the
Venets. Excuse me, the Venets.
You may have changed the name, by the way. That's beside. Go ahead.
We have changed the name. It's the Venetian
good.
South Tower. That tower has been fully renovated, so 1,000 brand new suites. We also, the top floor of that tower, as you probably recall, was 75,000 square feet of gray shell space. It was never finished when the tower was originally built. So we added brand new suites there. They're quite incredible, 14+ foot ceilings. And we introduced some very large suites that we sell. So if you want to host a bachelor party or birthday party, you can find a 3-4 bedroom suite, not in our, chairman suites that have, silk wall coverings. So it's beautiful. That's completed. And then as we think about what's next, we've wrapped up 4,000 suite remodel of the Venetian Tower, the Venetian North Tower. So soon we will move over to the Palazzo Tower. And it's a large resort, it's 19 million square feet. We're always going to be busy deploying capital on new spaces. We have a lot of new things. Many of them haven't been announced, but happy to share them with you privately.
That's great. And good on your capital partners for infusing these dollars in. One would just quickly segue into a topic that I'm sure you've heard has been very high on our agenda over the last year, which really is compliance and AML procedures that they're being followed across the city. That we've been disappointed with some of the cases that keep appearing before us. I'm sure you have a robust compliance system, but perhaps you could touch on that a little bit. I believe I recognize sitting in the audience your chief compliance officer, but how involved are you and perhaps your CFO, Mr. Brimmer, I see him too here, in the compliance programs of the property?
I'm very involved. I do not sit on our compliance committee, but I've attended every compliance committee meeting since I've been at the resort. It's something I've just learned over the years that there's no one customer, no one decision that's worth my reputation, the state's reputation, the Venetian's reputation. And so it's very, very important to me. I believe that our compliance posture at the resort starts with me. The team knows that. They know what I just described to you is, if there's something that's in question that you're unsure about, we have a phenomenal chief compliance officer and Norm, a phenomenal team of 20, 15 of those exclusively focused on AML full time. We have all the resources to address these issues. And what we try and do is just encourage our team. If something feels fishy, if you're not 100% certain on it, don't make the decision. Refer it to the compliance committee, refer it to Norm, and let's get all of our resources focused on these issues.
Well said, and thank you for that. I have no hesitation in supporting the application today, of course, the amazing progress that has been made. at that wonderful property. Thank you for being here in front of us today.
Thank you.
And Ms. Venice, thank you for being in front of us. You're the first one who's wished us a happy Christmas. I'm suspecting that because everyone else wants to wish us an unhappy one.
Well, doesn't it feel like it was just 6 months ago that we were doing this
I
in
know.
Boulder City? It's been a year.
You're
It's been a
right.
year.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you for being here as well. It just really stands out. 39 years old, president and CEO of Venetian. Well done. Amazing. Your background is, stellar. And, the fact that you worked, for Bill Macbeth opening Cosmo, good for you. And I'm sure it's really helped you transition into this role as well. So I really didn't have any questions, just comments of, wow, I'm happy to approve your application.
Thank you.
Mr. Nichols, welcome to our Gaming Commission meeting. Ms. Vermey, it's always a pleasure to see you and happy holidays back. So growing up in Minnesota and going to Dreitzer University, otherwise known as Cornell, how do you like the warmth of Las Vegas?
I love it. It's one of the reasons I've never left. It's nice to go to the snow when you want to go to the snow and not be forced to live in it year round.
And again, I tease, but your track record and CV are exquisite. And like Commissioner Silver said, you're 39. You don't have those gray hairs yet, but for you to have achieved all that you have, good on you. I thought your conversation with the Gaming Control Board was important. You talked a lot about the luxury market versus, I'll call it, the value market, but did you want to mention anything else about it being the banner 2025 being a banner year for the Venetian, and you're about to close books on it, but you still stand on that statement?
Yeah, it's been a fantastic year. We'll go down as a record year, and I think the financials are really important. Commissioner Marcantonis mentioned the capital investment in the resort. That's been a huge driver of, I think, us maintaining that luxury status. And the financials are great and they're really important, but there are two other things that I'm particularly proud of. One, we have the highest levels of employment and team member engagement we've ever had. So our team has never been happier to work at the Venetian. And we've made some difficult changes over the past 3 years. And so to achieve that in light of some of the changes we've made is one of the things I'm most proud of. And I think the second piece is we've also delivered the highest service scores in the 26-year history of the resort. So this year will exceed any previous year. And I think balancing those three, team member engagement, our guest service, and also the financials is really impressive. And I'm incredibly proud of the team, of all the work that they put into to accomplish that.
Good on you and your company and your employees. How do you validate happiness, if you will? I accept what you said, but
well, we survey our team usually about every other year, and Las Vegas Sands, before Apollo acquired the Venetian, did the same. It's asked the same questions to our team. Do you have the tools and resources to be successful? Are you happy with your direct managers, direct supervisor? A list of 70 or so questions. And we get together and we review those, and every department puts together an action plan. We get some very specific direct feedback. As Mr. Marcantonis knows, our team is not shy with providing feedback, which is one of the things that I love. They care, and they will tell us if there's something we need to improve. And so we measure. And so we have a benchmark, and we've improved on that benchmark.
Good. And you've had a conversation with Commissioner Marcantonis about, I'll say, the $1 billion capital investment that has been deployed, but I think there was another $500 million. It was $1.5 billion total. Could you describe a little bit more detail about the upcoming $500 million spend?
Yeah, we have a little bit north of $300 million planned for next year. We will touch a number of gaming spaces on both the Venetian and the Palazzo side. Kind of a full remodel down to the studs, starting from scratch. We'll begin work on the Palazzo Tower suite remodel. So we have about 3,000 suites in that tower. We'll start a remodel on a subset of those in the spring. And that's the bulk of it.
Good. And just for the record, I don't know why parking was such an issue at the Gaming Control Board meeting with the various applicants, but the Palazzo is probably my favorite parking in and out on the strip. So don't mess with that. But I am delighted to support your application today. You know, the Venetian and you, I think you're working, operating on all cylinders and that's a tribute to you and your team, but you're the one in front of us today. So good on you. Congratulations, and delighted to support your application today.
I just have a quick comment as to what you just said on the Palazzo parking, which was after the Global Gaming Convention, I couldn't get out of there for about an hour. But besides that, it's been wonderful. But with the gaming, oh my gosh, at 5 o'clock, it was not so good.
G2E were all trying to get
Unbelievable.
out, and they ended up because people didn't have the right tickets, and one gate wasn't working, and somebody literally just opened up the gates and everyone just started driving. But it did take a long time. But that was after however old that building is, that was the only time I've ever been frustrated getting out. But I don't hold you personally responsible. Just be aware.
I'll make sure we do a better job next year over G2E.
Are we even allowed to tell Chair, this gentleman, don't mess with that? You can probably mess with anything you want at your property.
We'll keep the subterranean parking. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Mr. Nichols, Ms. Vermees, happy holidays to both of you. I echo the comments of my colleagues. I did have just a couple questions. One is an update. It looks like you mentioned you have a wife and 2 children living in Las Vegas.
Mhm.
You must have added one since your application, because we show only one.
Yeah, I think my original application was over 3 years ago. So,
2022.
yes, I have
You have a small
little
one.
boy, yeah, 18-month-old.
Well, good. And then the only other question I had with respect to your work history is we showed a concurrent employment at Natural 9 LLC. What kind of business is that?
Natural 9 is simply a holding company for a sailboat that I own. So
Okay.
it's not a employment.
Okay. Yeah, it was listed as you being the managing member for it. So I was curious what it was and how it was related to the Venetian, if at all. So thank you for clarifying that. I don't have any questions or concerns. I mean, you've had an incredible history to reach this pinnacle of, the company at 39 is very impressive, and it sounds like you've done a wonderful job. So congratulations on that. I'm
Thank you,
happy to
Commissioner.
support your application.
I don't have anything to add, I think you've heard your age now five times, but I'll just call you an overachiever. How about that? Sorry for the loss of your mother in 2018, but it looks to me like she got the opportunity to be, that you had a lot of success at that time by then. And so I'm sure your parents were and are, your father, very proud of all that you've been able to accomplish. And I think there was a reference to the corporations related to some estate planning and things. And just to reiterate, you're not really managing those.
I have zero
entities.
day-to-day involvement, 0 board meetings, 0, the occasional conversation at dinner if I'm home visiting my family, but no.
Understood. That was the understanding. I'm just making a record that that's the case still, and happy to support your application and ask if, oh, by the way, we did show a student pilot license. What's the plan there? Just curious.
Similar to Jonathan, it was something I thought I had the time to do it between my transition to when MGM was acquiring the Cosmopolitan to when I started at the Venetian, and I missed it by probably a couple of weeks and haven't flown since kind of the end of July 2022. But it's something I will complete. It's I really enjoy it.
You have a baby.
And yes,
There's
But have
that
you
my wife
sailed?
reminds me of it.
minor time commitment. Okay, well, pleasure to meet you. I'm going to ask one of my colleagues if they have a motion.
Sure. I'm happy to move for approval of non-restricted item number 6 is read into the record by Madam Secretary and is recommended by the Gaming Control Board.
Any discussion on the motion? No. There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And there are none opposed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
How's our court reporter doing? Good? Okay, Madam Secretary, if you could please read in non-restricted number 7.
Non-restricted number 7 are the applications of Pioneer Holdco LLC and Pioneer Opco LLC to pledge membership interest as noted on the agenda. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval, and I believe we have a disclosure on this item as well.
Madam Secretary, when I made my disclosure on the record, I actually did say to non-restricted items 6 and 7. Does that still cover?
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning once again, Chair Tagliati, members of the commission, Madam Secretary, Sonia Vermaze from Brownstein Hyatt Farber Schreck. To my right is the Chief Financial Officer of Venetian, Robert Brimmer. Also, as Commissioner Marcantonis mentioned, we have Norm Richardson. He's Vice President and Compliance Officer. He's here in the audience. The application before you is a standard equity pledge approval. The two companies, Pioneer Holdco and Pioneer Opco, have filed to pledge their equity interest in their subsidiaries. This is in connection with a credit agreement with Wells Fargo. This revolving credit agreement, it replaced the credit agreement that was there with JP Morgan, and they closed on that in May. Once these pledge approvals are received, those equity pledges become effective. With that, we're happy to answer any questions that you have.
Commissioner Solis Rainey.
I'm sorry, I don't have anything. This is very straightforward. Thank you.
And Mr. Brimmer, welcome. Ms. Vermaze again. I thought the conversation was, provided all the clarity necessary during the Gaming Control Board meeting, and I too am very pleased to support the application today.
Mr. Brimmer, good to see you again. And I do have one question that has been public and in the press that perhaps over the last 48 hours, and again, kudos to all of you, but the numbers have been so fine that you are able to do a distribution, a profit share with all of your team members. Would you like to give us a bit of color behind that? I think it's an amazing example for the rest of the city, assuming it's not confidential. And as I said, it was in the newspapers, so it's not that secret.
Yes, good morning, commissioners. Last time I spoke a couple of years ago, we discussed the Red Coin program, or the Venetian Appreciation Program, that we put in place upon acquisition. And the goal of this is really to create alignment with the workforce and our valuable team members and have them think like owners. And that was the reason this was put in place by Apollo. And it's been tremendously successful and good for the business and good for our team members. We announced last week that we met our goals for 2025, and each full-time team member is receiving a distribution of $750. That brings the cumulative distributions to $4,250 over the life of this program. And we think there's more to come. But this is just a great program to create alignment and really reward our team members for driving the financial results that Patrick talked about.
You should be very proud. Congratulations. I felt it was important to put that on the record. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for being here, all of you. And it was a very thorough presentation at the board meeting, and any questions I had were really answered there. So I didn't have any questions. It's very straightforward. I'm supporting.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. And so at this time, I'm going to ask if any of you have a motion.
Sure. Madam Chair, I move for approval of non-restricted item number 7 as read into the record by Madam Secretary, Ms. Nicole Rupert, and as recommended by Nevada's Gaming Control Board. Thank you.
Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And there are none opposed. Thank you. We appreciate it. Madam Secretary, if you could please read in non-restricted number 8.
Non-restricted number 8 is the application of Michael Marchetti for finding of suitability as a director at Light and Wonder, Inc. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval.
Good morning.
Good morning once again, commissioners, Madam Secretary, Sonia Vermaze. To my right is the applicant, Michael Marchetti. He sits on the board of directors for Light and Wonder. He's also chair of the audit committee. This is his application for suitability as a director. Just by way of brief background, Mr. Marchetti earned his BA at Brooklyn College and his JD at Brooklyn Law School. He began his career on Wall Street as an investment banker, but then moved into other positions with gaming companies, including starting his mobile interactive career as founding executive and CFO of Jamdat Mobile. He was briefly CEO of Buffalo Studios, before joining Age of Learning in 2014, where he currently serves as CFO. He joined the board of Light and Wonder in 2024 and previously served as a director of SciPlay Corporation. He has filed applications and/or been licensed in approximately 50-plus jurisdictions, but this is his first time appearing here in Nevada. And with that, I will open it up to any questions.
Thank you for being here today. We appreciate your appearance at this time. With as many applications as you've submitted, I don't know how they put them all on one page in a tiny, tiny, tiny little font, but that's what we've got here. But we appreciate you being here, and I'm going to ask my colleagues to let me know if you have any questions, comments.
Mr. Marquetti, welcome. Ms. Vermees. I'd like to just, well, again, very impressive background. You've been successful apparently everywhere you went, and you've still got a grub stake in most of the things you've touched. So it's quite an extensive personal financial sheet that you have. But could you talk about the audit committee work that you're doing and how it, so again, forgive me for not knowing some of this, but it's the company's listed on Australia, correct?
Your microphone?
Yes, we moved to ASX about a month ago. It was previously listed on the NASDAQ for a number of years. The whole board voted to approve that. One of the main reasons was Aristocrat, our main competitor, is listed on the ASX, and we sort of comp pretty closely to them.
And there's a reason not to dual list?
We were dual listed for a while, but decided that they wanted to go just for the primary listing.
And so migrating from NASDAQ to Australia, what, that migration doesn't seem easy. Who's your current outside auditor?
Deloitte is our outside auditor.
And Deloitte, United States, are you migrating to Deloitte, Australia?
No, we will continue to file in the US. So we'll continue to file as an SEC registrant. We're still a Nevada company. And so we're still going to comply with all the 33 and 34 Act requirements. There's some additional disclosure requirements in Australia. There's sort of an ongoing disclosure requirement that's a little bit more rigorous than even in the US. But our financials will continue to be disclosed and filed in the US. So no, the auditing doesn't change. We still have the Deloitte US auditors. We will also have auditors in Australia for some local filings. But otherwise, it doesn't change our disclosure requirements.
And you've heard me talk about bandwidth today. You are a busy guy. And again, I appreciate that. And busy people somehow can find themselves comfortably even busier. So I appreciate you being able to compartmentalize that. But, the audit committee chair is hotspot. And your company's complex and things happen every day. And just talk to me about how you're able to, I've been an audit committee chair and it's hard to plug something in your day that you hadn't planned, but can you talk about that, please?
No, absolutely. The CFO position I have is a private company. So the time commitment, I'm operating executive there, but there's no public filings. We have board meetings quarterly with private investors. It's an educational company. I'm sort of fairly passionate about the mission of that company. We create education software for pre-K, K, first and second graders for both home use and in schools. So it's a business that I know well from my prior background in gaming, but from a time commitment standpoint, it's not like being a CFO of a public company, which I've done in the past, and probably wouldn't choose to be a public company CFO and an audit committee chairman. I think that would be a lot more work than is necessary.
And I agree. And most of your work is performed either in Manhattan Beach or Park City. I mean, do you go to an office somewhere?
No, we have an office in LA there's an office in Glendale for the.
It's not so far away.
Not so far away. And the board meetings for Light and Wonder, one a year happen in Vegas, one or two are remote, and then one is usually either in one of the locations we're around the world. We've done, last year was in London, this year maybe in Australia.
And going back some years, you were at Merrill Lynch?
I was at Merrill Lynch. I actually started my career as a corporate lawyer on Wall Street.
Was that before B of A or?
before B of A. Mhm.
So when
in the
did you
late
leave?
'90s.
Okay. All right. No, you're eminently qualified. Good on you. To have the discipline to perform the various things fully, but I'm happy to support
Thank
your
you.
application today.
I don't have anything to add. I was satisfied with the materials that we were provided in your presentation before the board. So it's just a pleasure to meet you. So thank you for being here.
Thank
and
you.
Happy holidays.
The only thing I would say is I'm always interested in the other jurisdictions list, and it's crazy how many applications you filed in 2020. Is there someone in your company that's only job is to file for?
I'm pretty sure,
gaming?
yes. And I think he's sitting in the audience. Yes.
Oh, my gosh. It's so,
Michael Freeze, Senior Vice President and Chief Compliance Officer, is here, and he sort of oversees that department. And it's more than one person. They have a team. And then, of course, they also have outside counsel in the various jurisdictions that are somewhat challenging, like Nevada. So it's a team effort.
Well, to quote Commissioner Kwilicki, good on you.
Mhm.
This is a very lengthy list to be cranking out all of these applications and filing them in the same year. And we wish you good luck with the remainders that haven't been approved yet, but are just pending, presumably because they're not that old. We appreciate you being here. I don't have any additional
Thank you.
questions for you. I'll ask my colleagues if they have any questions.
I concur. You're obviously beyond qualified. When you said it wasn't that far from Manhattan Beach to Glendale, agree, but how long, having lived in LA, it's still got to take you at least an hour or so to get to the office.
Yeah, we get,
hour and a
we don't,
half.
we're not in the office 7 days, 5 days a week. We go in like 2 to 3 days a week now.
And how long?
It's 40 minutes in the morning, but probably
Yeah.
an hour
Yeah.
coming back.
I was like, that's far.
Mhm.
But I figured you probably did it remote. And can you tell us more about your involvement with Cameo? I was just at an entertainment conference and they were giving away Cameo t-shirts and baseball caps. And I was wondering if it's like the same. I read something about am I reading it right? Cameo, UTA, where they hire famous
Oh, no,
people
that.
to provide personalized video messages.
Oh, I was an investor. I was just
Oh,
a
okay.
passive investor in that.
I didn't know what that
Yeah,
was.
I don't think it's doing that well.
Okay, well, if they're giving away free hats and t-shirts, maybe.
Probably shouldn't be.
Okay, well, I'm happy. Happy to, I thought it was funny. So
Yeah.
of course
They
I
make those
took a free
videos.
t-shirt and hat.
They
So-
hire actors and actresses to make videos
Yeah.
for birthdays or other things. But I think now with AI, I think with AI, you probably don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming here today and I'm happy to support your application.
Great.
If nobody has any additional questions or comments, then I think it's time for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of non-restricted item number 8 as read into the record by Madam Secretary and is recommended by the Gaming Control Board.
Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Great.
And there are none opposed. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you. Madam Secretary, could you please read in non-restricted number 10?
Non-restricted number 10 are the applications of Sun Valley Casino LLC doing business as Hobie's Casino and Restaurant for a non-restricted gaming license, slot machines only, and for licensure as a manufacturer and distributor. You also have the applications of 4G LLC, Pegram LLC, Michael Pegram, Amy Pegram, and Gary Carano for licensure as a member, manager, and/or key executive as noted on the agenda. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval with conditions as noted on the agenda.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the Commission, and Madam Secretary. My name is Sev Carlson. I'm a partner with Kempfer Kroll, and I'm here today on behalf of Sun Valley Casino LLC, the buyer in the transaction, and the individual applicant, Mike Pegram, who is appearing in Carson City. Along with Mr. Pegram in the Capitol is my former colleague, Dennis Nylander, who is a consultant for Mr. Pegram and his related gaming entities. Thank you for allowing them to appear in Carson City. What you have before you today are the applications for an asset purchase of Hobie's Casino in Sun Valley, Nevada, which is part of unincorporated Washoe County, just outside of the Reno city limits. With your permission, we are prepared to provide you and the Commission with a brief overview of the transaction and then have Mr. Pegram describe the purpose of the transaction and his thoughts going forward with Hobies.
Please.
Sun Valley Casino's ownership is a mirror of an existing gaming licensee, GPEG One LLC. GPEG is the parent company of the Tamarack Casino in Reno, and it also has 4 casinos in the Carson Valley and in Carson City, including the Carson Valley Inn, Sharky's, Bodine's, and Slot World. GPEG also holds licenses and approvals related to 2 grandfathered licenses for the Horseshoe Club and the Slot World Cabaret in Carson City. The licenses are active, but they're not operational. The individual applicants on your agenda are investing in the new Sun Valley Casino in exchange for equity as reflected on your agenda. These are investments from personal holdings, and the seller is taking a promissory note back for the balance of the purchase price. I'll briefly walk you through the applications as they appear on your agenda. First, there's an application for a new non-restricted gaming license, as this is an asset purchase. The license is for slot machines only. Second, there's an application for a manufacturer's and distributor's license. And while the company does not intend to utilize this license in the traditional sense, we want to make sure we don't run afoul of any regulations in the event the company is transferring or selling machines or swapping out parts. And then third, we have the applications for licensure of the managers and members of the board of the LLC. As you know, the control board considered and approved the registration of the minority shareholders, none of which hold more than 5%. And all of those minority shareholders have previously been licensed at various times, both for GPEG and other Nevada licensees. With that, I'd ask that Mr. Pegram give you a little bit of background and his thoughts moving forward, and then we're here for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name's Mike Pegram. The way this transaction took place is I was contacted by a broker and asked if I had any interest in Hobies. This will be the 6th casino that we've acquired. You know, the existing casinos all are between 300 and 600 machines. Hobies fits just right into what we think we do best. So it's basically a family to family transaction with the Mandis family and my family. Hobies has been a very well maintained, ran local casino. I think the Mandis family had it for 30 years, and we just hope we can go in and serve the community like they did, because they were outstanding operators at that location. Our plans is to go in and basically tweak some things in marketing, in food and beverage, but trying to do the same thing that they did there. We think it's a growing market, and it's something that will supplement our little casino group. With that pretty much sums up what I have to say. If there's any questions for you, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Appreciate you being here today in Carson City. And I would open it up to my colleagues for any questions or comments, starting with Commissioner Krolicki.
Thank you, Chair Tagliati. Mr. Carlson, always a pleasure to see you. And while it's Zoom, if you will, Mr. Pegram, Mr. Nylander, and who am I missing? Mr. Pegram. So your conversation with the Gaming Control Board, I thought was thorough. I think the value that you all can bring to this acquisition, if there's something to squeeze out, you all can do that. And I say that in a complimentary way. The investors are a who's who. You've got the five Carano family members and Mr. Murdoch. And Mr. Murdoch isn't with you in Carson City today, is he? It's not necessary, but I just appreciated his conversations about being with Don Carano at the very beginning.
Mr. Krolicki, this is Dennis Nylander for the record. Mr. Murdoch and the other minority members of the LLC were registered by the board, so they're not. So that's why they're not here today.
And that's fine. I just note that I certainly observed them and they all, I think they both provided testimony and it was appreciated. So that's fine. And Mr. Pegram, did you want to just, you put it on the record, but just to be clear, you are going to refresh the machines that are on the floor and perhaps add another couple dozen, but could you talk about your strategy for refreshing the machines, please?
Yes, sir. The machines, as I said before, the place is very well maintained. I think there's some opportunities to throw some new themes on the floor. So I think we presently have 25 new games that's going to go on the floor. We will start construction come the first of the year. Normally we love going in and changing things around immediately, but with the holidays coming up, it's kind of restricting our construction schedule. So, but we will be going in with new carpeting, kind of making the place a little more intimate than what it is right now and going forward. But, you know, compared to the other places that we have taken over, we've gone in with massive changes. So this is kind of unique to us because we've never had an experience of taking over a building that's in this good a shape.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Mr. Pegram. But I recognize the opportunity it presents to such an experienced set of hands that are behind this application. And I just wish you well. I'll wish you a happy holiday season to all of you and happy to support the application today.
Thank you.
Commissioner Solis Rainey, do you have anything?
Mr. Pegram, thank you. And Mr. Nylander, thank you for being with us. I echo the holiday wishes and the comments made by Commissioner Kurlicki. I just had a question following up on what the discussion was during the board meeting. I believe you indicated that you were not expecting staff changes, but that if there were, you had the capacity to absorb those people into your other properties. Is that correct?
That is true.
Okay. And when will, I'm assuming obviously until you take over operations, you won't know the extent of the staff changes.
Well, we've been in the property for the last probably 3 weeks. There will be some people that we think in some departments that are overstaffed. There's other departments we feel that's understaffed. The total number of people, employees will stay basically the same. The places that we feel that are overstaffed, we have need at Tamarack Casino, which is about a 20-minute drive from Sun Valley. So those people will be offered positions at that place.
Okay, perfect. And you indicated that one of the plans is to make the property more intimate. What construction changes are going to, I guess, effectuate that?
Again, we're bringing in new carpeting. We're building some small pony walls that will kind of not make it feel as big as what it actually is. We're adding awnings. We got high ceilings. We're coming in with awnings in certain areas that will bring everything down. We're expanding the bar, which again will kind of bring the two casinos together. What you have at Hobie's is, again, the previous ownership bought a very small place in 30 years ago. They did 2 major renovations to the place. I think they doubled the size once, and then they doubled the size the second time and added the parking structure. So as I've always said, as I said before on this, is this property has been very well capitalized and maintained as they gone along and grew with the area.
And how many machines does the property have currently?
I think it's sitting somewhere between 340 and 350 currently.
Okay. And the ones that you're adding, the 25 or so that you're adding, is that in addition to, or are you replacing the ones that are already on the floor?
I would say it will be an addition because we never stop adding machines. So when we add, we take off. Right now, we have not identified anything that we're taking off the floor. So those 25 will be an addition to what the count is right now.
Okay. Sounds like you have the space for it anyway. So
Yes,
I don't have anything further. Congratulations on the acquisition and happy holidays to all of you.
Thank you.
Commissioners Krolicki, excuse me, Markantonis or Silver?
Thank you again. I'll echo the comments of my colleagues and congratulations on this acquisition. I thought it was very thorough. You know, the meeting, the control board meeting. So I think it answered any questions I had and just wish you best of luck in your future endeavors. So thank you.
And the same applies to me. Thank you, Mr. Pegram, Mr. Nylander, Mr. Carlson. Wish you happy holidays and good fortune going forward with this project. Thank you.
Okay, I don't have any additional questions or comments. I'm in support of the application and appreciate you being here in Carson to answer our questions. At this time, does anyone have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move for approval of non-restricted item number 10 is read into the record by Madam Secretary and is recommended by the Gaming Control Board, including the recommended limitations.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And there are none opposed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to the staff for a thorough job.
Thank you. Okay, I'm being asked to take a comfort break for the court reporter and anyone else who might need one on the staff and commission. So it is 11:37. If we could reconvene at 11:45. Thank you. Okay, we're back on the record, if you will, and reconvened. Madam Secretary, if you could please read in non-restricted number 11.
Non-restricted number 11 are the applications of William Hill, Nevada 2, doing business as Caesar's Sportsbook, doing business at Bodine's, Sharky's Casino, Carson Valley Inn, and Slot World for a non-restricted gaming license, racebook, and sports pool only. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval with conditions as noted on the agenda.
Good morning, still morning.
Yes.
Good morning, Chair Tagliati, members of the commission, Madam Secretary. For the record, I'm Kelsey Banu with the law firm of McDonald Carano. This morning, I'm here on behalf of William Hill, Nevada 2, DBA Caesars Sportsbook. With me this morning to my left is Lisa Rankin, Vice President, Compliance and Licensing for Caesars Digital, and Dan Shapiro, Senior Vice President, Chief Development Officer for Caesars Digital. The applications before you are for non-restricted gaming licenses, racebook, and sports pools only at the following Northern Nevada locations: Bodine's, Sharky's Casino, Carson Valley Inn, and Slot World. Of the 4 locations, only Carson Valley Inn will have a manned book, while the other 3 locations will have kiosks. William Hill has requested to utilize employees of Carson Valley Inn for its licensed operations at Carson Valley Inn. In accordance with that, there were some proposed conditions that we received from the board. We've reviewed and find those conditions to be acceptable. And then there were also some general conditions to be placed on each location's license, and we have also reviewed and are happy with those conditions as well. I just would like to add, during the Gaming Control Board meeting, there was some discussion regarding new information pertaining to the pari-mutuel license at Carson Valley Inn. As requested by the chair of the board, following the board meeting, we provided additional information and clarification to the agents, but wanted to provide some here on the record as well. Originally, the parties had intended for Carson Valley Inn to maintain its existing pari-mutuel license, but after further discussion, it was decided that Carson Valley Inn will surrender its pari-mutuel license, and William Hill will be applying for a pari-mutuel license at the location. Carson Valley Inn, though, will maintain its license until William Hill's is hopefully approved by you. William Hill at this time is also contemplating looking into applying for pari-mutuel licenses at other of the Northern Nevada locations, but has no current plans to submit any applications for that at this time. With that, we would greatly like to thank Agent Ryan Finnegan and Special Agent Ashlyn Burke for their work and thoroughness on these applications. And I would be happy to open the floor to any questions you may have.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate you both being here. And I'm going to open it up to my colleagues for any questions or comments.
Thank you for being here. I thought that the discussion at the Gaming Control Board was very thorough. Of course, you are comfortable with all the conditions that have been specified? Good.
Yes.
I don't have any further questions on the subject. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Korlicki or Solus Rainey?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Banu, always a pleasure. Mr. Shapiro, and I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Lisa Rankin.
Ms. Rankin, thank you for being in front of us. No, I thought the conversation in front of the Gaming Control Board was thorough and informative, and lots of good questions, and I'm perfectly comfortable to provide the approvals today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I don't have anything for you either.
Commissioner Silver?
No, it was very, very thorough. I know they asked you a lot of questions, so now there's no questions that we can ask you. So thank you for being here, though. Appreciate it.
We do appreciate you making the record on the update with the plan going forward on the pari-mutuel. So thank you for that. And at this time, if there is a motion.
I move for approval of non-restricted. Item number 11 is read into the record by Madam Secretary and is recommended by the Gaming Control Board.
Any discussion on the motion?
No.
There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And there are none opposed. Thank you both for being here, all three of you, actually. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, could you please read in non-restricted number 12?
Non-restricted number 12 is the application of Richard Cook for licensure as an officer at AV Casino Enterprise, Inc. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval.
Good morning. Good morning, Chair, members of the Commission, Madam Secretary. Again, for the record, I'm Kelsey Banu with the law firm of McDonald Carano. I'm here on behalf of the AV Casino Enterprise, Inc., DBA AV Resort and Casino. The applicant, Mr. Richard Brian Cook, is appearing with us via video. Thank you again for that approval. The application before you is for Mr. Cook's licensure as an officer, president of the AV. As you know, just last year, Mr. Cook was licensed as general manager of the AV. And there have been no issues or areas of concern in regard to his background. I would like to briefly speak to the timing of the submission of Mr. Cook's application, as a more complete explanation, I believe, is provided in your materials. And I believe you've likely reviewed the Gaming Control Board meeting transcript or perhaps watched the meeting. Many months after the submission of Mr. Cook's application, it became clear that a miscommunication had occurred regarding Mr. Cook's appointment date, which, despite good faith efforts and belief that the application was timely submitted, it did result in a 3-day late filing of his application. As we discussed at the board meeting in more depth, we understand and acknowledge regulatory compliance is, of course, the cornerstone of the integrity of the gaming industry and of critical importance with the compliance of the Nevada Gaming Control Act and regulations. The AV's commitment and mine to compliance is demonstrated by our close partnership and historical practice with the board. Of course, we can't, go back in time to correct anything, but we can make remedial measures and put those in place to prevent future miscommunications and ensure continued compliance. And the AV and I have discussed and we'll work to collect just all documents and reconfirm dates, of course, moving forward. With that, we would like to thank Agent Raquel Bridges and Supervisor David Bradford for their work on the application and open the floor to any questions you may have.
So do we have?
He is there. He just has not accepted the promotion yet, and he cannot be seen or heard until he accepts the promotion on Zoom.
Do we think he can hear us? Do you have his text?
I do, yes.
Can you tell him
May
to
I?
accept it?
Yes, thank you. I just messaged him. I know you have a full agenda today, and I'd be happy to perhaps move this if necessary. Oh, he's calling me.
Okay, go ahead and answer it. But I would turn your mic off. There you go. Anything we can do to try to troubleshoot this or? That's okay. Options? Any suggestions or options that we have to just? Okay, do we just send them a link? Is that how this works? And, okay, so we sent him a link and then he did what? Logged on a computer or what did he do? Can
I
you
just resent the link to him directly.
tell him to
so-
try to use his phone? Can he? No, it's all right. Not the end of the world. Is he on the same device?
Yes. Can you
A different device.
Okay. No, it gets complicated.
You can see us on your phone. Oh, you said join.
I just, so he's there? I just want the record to reflect that Tagliati solved the IT problem. I just want to put that out there and I can't wait to tell my kids.
Noted.
All he has to do is unmute and speak. And speak. And speak. There you go. Okay, we don't have audio, so that's the one thing. Could you see if you put your mic?
There you go.
There you go. There you go. Oh. You have to turn your second device off.
Are you there?
Yes, thank you. So the record should reflect that he is, we're getting a little Blair Witch project going on right now. So if we could just hold it still, that'd be great.
Yep, I will.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Cook, welcome to the meeting via Zoom, and we're glad you were able to get it, the link going on your phone. Unfortunately, I think you may, or you did or did not miss your attorney's very detailed presentation on your behalf. Did you catch it?
I caught it all. I've been watching it since the get-go. It's kind of, sorry about this.
No, it's not a problem. It's, it happens. We're just glad to have you. And since you got to hear all that, then now is the opportunity for you to introduce yourself and tell us about yourself and anything that you'd like to say in support of your application. And then I'll ask my colleagues if they have any questions.
Okay, thank you. Again, thank you for having me today and allowing me to participate via Zoom since I'm down here in Laughlin. Just to give you a little update, I've been here at D of E for coming up on 12 years in January. I've been in the gaming business for over 30 years. I started in Reno at the Flamingo downtown on Virginia Street, if anybody remembers that, back in 1994, and then worked there a couple of years, moved to the Reno Hilton, which is now the Grand Sierra, and then transferred from there, because at that time it was a Hilton property, transferred back out here to Laughlin when it was the Flamingo Laughlin, which is now the Aquarius, and worked there for a total of 19 years, and then left there to come here to the AV. So been in the gaming for over 30 years. Love it here at the AV. We're doing a lot of great things here. Financially, we're successful. The last 10 years been very good. We continue to grow the business. The people here are happy and friendly, and it's owned by the Fort Mojave Indian tribe, the AV. So being successful helps the local community as well as the tribe. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you. I appreciate that. At this time, I will ask my colleagues if any of them have any questions or comments for you.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just some quick questions from your presentation, which is very thorough in front of the Gaming Control Board, but more from the hospitality point of view, my curiosity. You had mentioned that one demographic of your clientele bringing in their own ice chests. And I was going to ask, is that even allowed by the property? Because I know in Las Vegas, most properties have rules about what can get into an elevator. But go ahead.
Yeah. What we have found, and this goes back, being that we're located right on the Colorado River, there's a lot of families that come out here, especially in the summer, bring their boats, and they have ice chests in their boats, and a lot of them bring and pack their own stuff. But what we have found, the economy's changed a little bit in the last couple of years, and especially this summer, it seems that we are attracting a little bit more of a value customer. So they are looking for, they will pack their own stuff because they go down to the beach, and that's what that was about with the ice chest. But
okay, and then so from October through April, demographic roughly 70 years old. And
Yep.
I was curious, again, purely from the hospitality point of view, on a cruise ships are designed for that demographic. I mean, they have railings down the corridors for people to hold on to, in case of a swell. Do you have to, knowing that that's primarily your clientele demographic, do you have any special adjustments in how the layout of the casino is, or anything else is done to accommodate that?
yeah, I mean, well, not a lot of that, but we do have railings, and we have ramps where people can walk into the casino floor from the front door. We don't have a lot of steps in that to accommodate those people, but everything is on one floor. So not like in Vegas and some of the larger properties, we are a one floor casino area. Obviously, we have more floors for our hotel rooms, but we do have elevators for that. But we do look, our demographic in the wintertime is elderly. But no, we don't have many slips and falls and that. So it's a very safe place.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was just not put you on the spot, just fascinated by how you would target that audience to make it easier for them to navigate the floor. So thank you for your answers, Mr. Cook.
You're welcome.
What are the future development plans? Are you able to be a bit more specific about those? Or
a little bit. It's just in the infancy stages, but we're out there looking to do a feasibility study to see if it would be good for us to expand our property, whether it's more hotel rooms, larger convention space, more casino space. This property is 30 years old now. The area itself has grown over the last 30 years since this property was built. So there's an opportunity. Right now, we're only at 452 rooms. So on big weekends and especially in the summertime, we run very high occupancy. There's an opportunity there to increase hotel revenues, and then gaming revenues, food and beverage revenues. But yeah, we're we're out there, we're going to do a feasibility study to see if there's an opportunity for us to expand. But we do believe there is.
And you see that there's a convention market for that
Well,
locale?
not so much convention market, but more FITs, weddings, reunions, that type of thing. We are right on the Colorado River. We've got a beautiful beach, boat ramp. We've got a golf course across the street from us that's owned also by the Fort Mojave Indian Tribe. We've got a KOA campground. So there's lots of things that we have as a true resort here that would, and it's not so much convention business per se like Las Vegas would have, but more of that individual traveler that we can get destinations with that.
Yeah, I was just looking at what you suggested, the new convention and special events space, 10,000 square feet. That was pretty big, but healthy. Delighted to hear that there's a market for that kind of growth. So thank you for those answers, Mr. Cook. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions?
I had one quick question with respect to governance, if I may. I'm sorry. Mr. Cook, in our materials, I understand the Fort Mojave tribe is governed by a tribal council, but then we also show a number of directors, chairperson, secretary, director, and then individual directors. How are those people? I'm not understanding how those people in the tribal council interrelate.
Okay, so the tribal council is completely separate. That they're the tribal council for the Fort Mojave Indian Tribe. But for us as a property, we have the ACE Board of Directors, and there's seven of those individuals that I report to. All of those individuals are licensed through Nevada Gaming. So as the president, I report to the Board of Directors.
Okay, and is the Board of Directors appointed then by the tribal council?
That is correct.
Okay. It looks like they've been in place for quite a while, so you've had a lot of stability with that.
Yes, I mean, and that's one nice thing about this place is the stability with the individuals, because over time there's not a lot of change, and it makes it a lot easier to conduct business and move forward with plans with the same individuals on that board.
Okay, thank you. I just wasn't clear. I thought it was something like that, but I maybe misread the materials. I wasn't clear that that was a relationship. Thank you. I don't have anything further, and I have no concerns with your individual application. You're very qualified.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cook, and congratulations on figuring out the technology. You were nervous. You know, well, we just saw an application and just about a year ago, so you know, not a lot has changed. Just two questions, if not even comments. Trailing on Commissioner Marcantonis, you talked about the feasibility study of expanding hotel rooms, gaming floor, whatever. But, you know, but across into Arizona, Spirit Mountain Casino, and I know the tribe, which owns that property as well, is remodeling, refurbishing, and I think you like 350 machines or so. So it's not going to be small. But how do the two properties, I mean, different states, but how do they coordinate and not cannibalize each other, if that's a fair way to state it?
Yeah, the Spirit Mountain Casino has been there. There's the current one that's there, and they're actually building a new casino about 5 miles more south, closer to the California border. So it is the same market with the same people, but you know, 12 miles away makes a lot of difference. There's limited casinos where we're at. We do have some where we sit, another 12 miles north, and you have all the 10 Laughlin casinos. But you know, we do have our players card is a one card, so we're able to market and help each property cross market those players. But we do get some players that play here and play there, but it's just creates a loyalty for us for our gaming players.
All right, thank you. And you know, I was just fascinated by your comment because I don't know how you would quite accommodate it, but you talked about the clientele. You know, in the winter, it's affectionately called the snowbirds, who are your dominant customer base. And in the summer, as you've already talked about, you've got boaters, cooler haulers coming into the property, but completely different folks, and family considerations. How do you do that? I mean, are there things that you physically do in the space or the restaurants, or just talk to me the strategy of how you completely invert your employees and taking care of these patrons.
So so what happens is about towards the middle of February, we start hiring some temporary staff, seasonal people that works the pool, the beach, some additional security that help take care of those individuals, because it is more family driven through the summer months. So we need more people, lifeguards at the pool, more people to work out the sell beverage sales, work the bars, and that. And then in the summer or the wintertime, it is more of it's a senior market. So then we have to change some of our food and beverage menus to offer them different types of food that they may like. Slots, we focus on doing our slot promotions to those the senior markets versus in the summer markets. We just have to change our strategy. Really, it's pretty easy once you've done it, but we get two different types of clientele, because most of those, and we call them snowbirds here, but April 1st, if they're from up north or Canada or wherever they come from, a lot of them have to be back in their neighborhoods by tax season. So April 1st, we see most of the RV park, they pack up and they're on their way back to wherever they come from. Then it's by the time that happens, it's starting warming up and the summer crowd moves in.
Oh, Mr. Cook, thank you. It's been an interesting day. We go from, the Las Vegas Strip to Sun Valley to Laughlin and 12 miles outside. So we've had quite the tour of brick and mortar today. You are incredibly qualified for what you do. You do understand this niche exceedingly well. They're fortunate to have you and happy to support your application today.
Thank you.
So I don't have any additional questions or comments. And so at this time, if anyone has a motion.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of non-restricted item number 12 is read into the record by Madam Secretary and is recommended by the Gaming Control Board.
Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And there are none opposed. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, if you could please read in non-restricted number 13.
Non-restricted number 13 are the applications of LVGV LLC doing business as the M Resort Spa and Casino, Cactus Pete's LLC doing business as Cactus Pete's Resort and Casino, and Cactus Pete's LLC doing business as Horseshoe Hotel and Casino to add, remove, or modify condition. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval with conditions as noted on the agenda.
Good afternoon this time. Madam Chair, members of the Commission, Madam Secretary, it's a pleasure to be before you again. For the record, I'm Kelsey Banu with the law firm of McDonald Carano. I am here on behalf of the M Resort Spa and Casino, Cactus Pete's Resort Casino, and the Horseshoe Hotel and Casino. Appearing via video, I'm hopeful, there we go, is Chris Soriano, Vice President and Chief Compliance Officer of Penn Entertainment, Inc. And we also have Brian Wazalewski, Vice President of Product and Analytics of Penn Entertainment. Thank you again for the approval of these appearance requests. We appreciate it. The applications before you are to add, remove, and/or modify conditions on the licenses of each of the named locations. First is the request to modify the conditions on the M Resorts manufacturer and distributor license. Second is the request to add a key employee condition to the non-restricted license of each of the 3 locations. We would sincerely like to thank Senior Agent Mark Robertson and Supervisor Jeff Zinn for their extensive work and thorough work on these applications. Given the full agenda and in light of the background and discussion provided at the board meeting, at this time, I'd be happy to either turn the floor over to questions or continue with providing some brief background as to the reason for these applications, whichever you may prefer.
Brief is fine. Brief background is fine.
Okay, thank you. So the M Resort with these applications, at least pertaining to the manufacturer and distributor licenses, is seeking to modify the existing conditions, really just to provide greater flexibility to research, develop, and deploy new in-house technology that was discussed at the board meeting. The M Resort launched a new cashless wagering system, is seeking, in compliance with minimum internal control standards, to comply with those standards and be able to issue those reports, which it is currently outsourcing. And then the M Resort plans to continue to expand its use of in-house technology, including some proposed changes to its promotion system. And for those reasons, that resulted in discussions with the gaming lab and us seeking these modifications.
Thank you. Gentlemen, thank you for being here today via Zoom. We appreciate it. At this time, I'm going to ask my colleagues if they have any questions for council or either of our folks appearing by Zoom. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Chair Tagliati. Really no questions, just I'm still amused. Now we're going from Henderson up to jackpot. We really do have the full Nevada spread today on applications. Just listening to the Gaming Control Board meeting, which was very thorough and touched on all the different aspects. I appreciate the timing of the approval with the news of the new tower, the M Resort opening, so that this is a big month for all of you this holiday month. Appreciate the free parking. That was a great timing issue. I'm looking at Judge Assad. Parking has been a theme also. But yeah, I'm delighted to approve the application today. It's straightforward and it's been thoroughly discussed. Thank you.
I don't have anything further, but I'm happy to support the application and I appreciate you being with us today.
I echo Commissioner Solis Rainey's comments.
There being no additional questions, then do any of you wish to make a motion?
I can do that.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I move for the approval of non-restricted item number 13 as read into the record by Madam Secretary, Ms. Nicole Rupert, and as recommended by Nevada's Gaming Control Board with the conditions.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
My bad. Any discussion on the motion?
No.
There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And there are none opposed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Happy
Thank you.
holidays.
Yes, thank you, Chair Tagliati and Commissioners. I appreciate the consideration. Best wishes for the holiday season and happy 2026.
Same to you. Thank you.
Sure.
Madam Secretary, could you please read into the record non-restricted number 16?
Non-restricted number 16 are the applications of Aristocrat Leisure Limited for continuous transfers of interest as noted on the agenda, for a waiver of the provisions of Nevada Gaming Commission Regulation 4.080 as noted on the agenda, and for an amendment to order of registration. It is also the applications of Aristocrat Technology Gaming Systems Pty Limited and Aristocrat Interactive SARL for continuous transfers of interest as noted on the agenda, and for a waiver of the provisions of Nevada Gaming Commission Regulation 4.080 as noted on the agenda. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval.
Yeah, it's my understanding that this item has an order that relates, which is the 17th revised order of registration, draft number 1 dated November 10th, 2025.
Good afternoon. Chair Judge Tagliati, members of the commission, Madam Secretary, for the record, Greg Giordano, law firm McDonald Carano, appearing on behalf of the applicants. With me via video from Sydney, Australia is Tracy Elkerton. Thank you for allowing her to appear via video instead of making the long trip out here to Las Vegas just before the holidays. These applications are similar to ones that have been approved in the past with respect to subsidiaries of Aristocrat Leisure Limited. Basically, as Tracy will explain in more detail in a minute, they're basically to allow and provide for intercompany transfers of financing and so forth between the companies without getting specific prior approvals. And now with these applications, we're simply adding some of the Neo game subsidiaries that were acquired by the company last year or earlier this year. So with that, then we turn over to Tracy Elkerton to provide the rest of our presentation, and then we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Ms. Elkerton, thank you for being here via Zoom. We appreciate it.
Good morning, Chair, Commissioners, Madam Secretary and board staff. I'd like to begin by saying thank you for allowing me to appear by Zoom today. I do spend considerable time in Las Vegas throughout the year, but it's been helpful to avoid travel at this time of the year, given the long flight and the holiday season that's fast approaching. It would also be remiss of me to note that I'm doing my part to maintain the average with a full head of grey hair, although you may not be able to see that on Zoom this morning. I'd further like to thank the board staff for their assistance throughout this application process. I've said this many times before in these hearings that the board staff are always very professional and they make the process seamless. And I think working with people that are knowledgeable and importantly respectful makes our job easier also on the other side. There have not been any material changes to Aristocrat since we appeared before the board back in April last year. And you might recall that that was for our acquisition of Neo Games and also for my personal licensure. However, I thought I'd give the commission, a brief update on a couple of matters. The commission previously granted continuous approval for the issuance of the transfer of shares between certain entities within the group. And this application really is just to extend that approval to incorporate other entities within the Aristocrat Group, particularly those that have been established as part of the Neo Group acquisition and our interactive business. The extension really just allows us to move funds through our subsidiary entities without having to do internal loans. So it allows us to set up a more permanent equity-based structure when we're trying to move funds through our over 180 entities within the Aristocrat Group. We anticipate issuing shares following this approval in the next couple of weeks. In regards to the Neo Group transaction that was approved last year, the Commission may recall that it was a 100% acquisition. We're pleased to announce that all of the activities that we hope to achieve in the first 12 months of that acquisition have now been completed, and really resulting in alignment of leadership, governance and reporting structures across that organisation, integration of systems and operational processes, including financial systems. But most importantly, from my perspective, we've really strengthened the culture of compliance across that interactive business, and with a high focus on transparency across the organisation. And we've now adopted the Aristocrat Compliance Plan right across that business. The remaining integration work that we have left really will focus on longer term system integrations and commercial optimization activities, and we expect that to continue on for the next 12 months. Finally, I thought it might be helpful to provide an update on our broader compliance program at Aristocrat. We've continued to expand our compliance team. We now have over 120 employees in the team. Most of those are based in Las Vegas, supported by a small team here in Sydney, and a few employees located throughout Europe. This year in 2025, we invested over $40 million in our compliance program, and we intend to spend about the same in 2026. And so this is really a reflection on the importance we place on compliance across the organisation, and I'm pleased to share that information with the Commission today. We continue to invest in strengthening the capability of the compliance team, and we've made significant investment in tools and systems this year that enable us and enable us to comply with all of the obligations we have right throughout the world. Our commitment to the highest standards of integrity and transparency remain absolute, and this expectation is non-negotiable for us as our business continues to evolve, and that message comes right from the top, from the board all the way through the organisation. Given this is my final appearance before we enter our shutdown period in Australia, I'd just like to close by wishing you all a very happy and safe holiday season. thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions the commission may have.
Thank you. We appreciate seeing you and getting to hear from you. At this time, I will ask Commissioner Krolicki.
Thank you, Chair Tagliati. Ms. Elkerton, always a pleasure to see you. I've been sorry you're a 15-hour plane ride away, but understand the technology used today, and I wish you a happy holiday as well.
Thank you.
You have a massive job. You know, the size of an aristocrat, the markets that you're in, and being the chief of compliance. You know, it's not easy. You've mentioned tone at the top. You are, you know, that tone at the top along with the C-suite, and it's appreciated. The money spent in compliance, I didn't have it quantified before, but the $40 million is significant in the scheme of things. But the alignment of leadership and the technology and the governance you've mentioned and spent some time discussing with the Gaming Control Board is well received and understood. So, you know, for all of those reasons coming together, you know, understand the applications today certainly make sense and wise, and happy to support. Merry
Lovely,
Christmas to you.
Thank you.
I didn't have any questions, but I wanted to echo Commissioner Kurlicki's comment and appreciation for your commitment to compliance. It's a lot of resources to commit to it, but given the size and breadth of your entity, I think it's necessary, and we do appreciate it. Thank you.
And Chair Tagliati, just one follow-up on that. Your discussion with the control board on gray market, I thought was particularly insightful, but crucially important. You know, it seems everywhere in the gaming industry and from a regulator standpoint, you know, bad actors are pressing the edges as they've never done before. And just, you know, with the scope of your company's business around the planet, your comments on the gray market was important to listen to. And, you know, good on you and good luck, you know, on, you know, working in that space.
Yeah, thank you. It's interesting because I've been, I think most of you know, I've been at Aristocrat for, I think it's about 27 years now. And the barriers to entry have always been very high to enter the gaming space, but most recognizably in Nevada. And for me, you know, thinking about how much we've invested in our compliance program and systems and tools, it's important that we continue to kind of hold that bar high, and to try and get I guess a level playing field for those that don't hold themselves or their organizations to the same standards, particularly as it relates to those grey markets, and in fact illegal markets. So we have invested heavily, particularly since we've entered the interactive space. We've had to invest in legal advice we've reviewed, I think it's about 160 jurisdictions, the legality of offering wagers in those jurisdictions. We're now focusing on the tools that we need to try and track our ongoing compliance. But you know, we certainly enjoy being able to speak to our shareholders about the high barrier to entry and the sort of those high thresholds that we need to continually meet. And I think that, you know, that leads to a vibrant industry that we can all operate in safely. So you know, I think that the efforts are worthwhile. The investment is worthwhile.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions or comments?
Hello, Ms. Elkerton. Thank you for being here. And yeah, your discussion at the board was really, really interesting. And I concur with Commissioner Krolicki, your discussion about the gray markets and illegal markets. It was very enlightening in how your company handles it. And I would concur also with Chair Dreitzer in that you have a very robust compliance department, and it's very, very impressive. So I fully intend to support your application, and thank you again for the presentations.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right, at this time, do you have a motion?
I do. Okay, so yes, I do. Madam Chair, I move for approval of non-restricted item number 16 as read into the record by Madam Secretary, Ms. Nicole Rupert, and recommended by Nevada's Gaming Control Board.
Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And there are none opposed. Thank you very much, and enjoy your holiday.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Ta-da.
Thank you very much and happy holidays to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, as non-restricted number 19 was a withdrawal handled at the board meeting, I believe that brings us to the restricted items held out for discussion. If you could please read in restricted number 1.
Restricted number 1 is the application of Community Vegas LLC doing business as Chef's Roma Kitchen for a restricted gaming license. It is also the applications of Ricardo Romo, Stephen Kennedy, Shane Carvalho, Jeremy Hall, SVR Hospitality LLC, Hawaiian Style Investments LLC, GKP LLC, and Brand Lifestyle Marketing LLC for licensure and or finding of suitability as a member and or manager as noted on the agenda. You also have the applications of SVR Hospitality LLC, Hawaiian Style Investments LLC, GKP LLC, and Brand Lifestyle LLC for registration as a holding company as noted on the agenda. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. David Brown on behalf of the applicants. To my immediate right is Mr. Romo, and to his right is Mr. Kennedy. With your blessing, we'll start with those two. I'll be very brief. We just want to really start off by thanking agents Mallory Rebbold and Brandon Peters. They were wonderful to work with on the process. I'm going to let Mr. Romo give a little bit abbreviated version of his presentation today, and then we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Commission, thank you first of all for having us. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a blessing. A little nervous. First time doing this. I mean, I'm sure if you guys read the transcripts, I'm an interesting case. And I'd like to thank you guys for listening and considering my application, first of all. It's meaningful. It means a lot for me to be here in front of you guys. Obviously, I made some bad decisions in my youth. Got caught up with the wrong people, made a lot of mistakes. I owned up to those mistakes. Initially, I was, convicted of some serious offenses, model inmate, and was released and worked my way after several years to my pardon, which Carson City helped me do that. I was released. I did all that. I waited the statute of limitation. I began working in restaurants around casinos. I opened up several restaurants and casinos in this town and been around gaming my whole life, pretty much in Vegas. I met my wife years ago. We were in the business. She's been a rock to me. She's very supportive. We have 2 kids. My daughter's graduating from Gorman this year. She's going to go to medical school, plastic surgery. I got a son in Christian Academy here in Henderson. He's a model student, very smart, already skipped 1st grade. My work demanded a lot of hours. I've always tried to be a family man. I've always tried to work hard and have all my staff and, and every restaurant that I've done, I would like to say everyone's been very blessed to have me there, and they're better for that. I'm proud of where I'm at. I'm proud to sit here before you guys. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here. I'd like to thank the board for their recommendation for approval. I would like to thank my lawyer with his help for getting us here, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. I'll open it up to my colleagues. Do you have any questions?
Thank you for being here. I'm one of the few individuals that has presided over the Pardons Board as a former Supreme Court Justice, along with the governor and the Attorney General. And when I read your, the agent's investigation, I just felt like you are really the poster child as to why we have the Pardons Board, from somebody, exactly like you said, who made some poor decisions as a youth, but had turned their life around through the years and actually became such an asset to the community. You're exactly what I would look for to sponsor as a Supreme Court Justice, an individual to the Pardons Board, which I've sponsored many, many people. You're exactly what we would be looking for. And you really are an asset to the community. I was really impressed that you were able to do it pro se or by yourself.
Yes.
Because that is not an easy application or process at all, especially, having been on that. I certainly know how hard that is. So there's like a 5-year wait to even get onto that. So for what it's worth, I would have signed off as well with the others, which was unanimous with the board. So congratulations for that. And I really wish you well in your future endeavors as well.
I thank you for that. I understand you were on the Portland's board and it was a long application. I did do it on my own and I'm very proud of that. I didn't want to live with that burden on me for the rest of my life. And obviously I'm a businessman and I'd like to put that past behind me and I like to move forward and continue with the community. I am an asset and thank you for that. I'm a humble person, but I do believe that I have a lot to offer this town.
And it was nice to see you give credit to the secretary there that works with everyone. She is amazing.
Yeah.
It's Denise, I think it is.
I don't remember
I'm trying to think
because
of her
it
name,
was
but
so long ago.
she's so amazing. I mean, she's just the only person there. As
Yeah,
far
she
as
was
help.
they were just so great.
I worked with
and
her a lot.
understanding and
so congratulations on that.
thank you for that. Thank you.
Commissioner Marcantonis.
Yeah, Mr. Romo, I mean, I will be supporting your application. Your honest and passionate presentation in front of the Gaming Control Board. It was how people who may be in the same situation as yourself, how they should deal with their lives and their future. For your kids, they should be very proud of how you're exiting the first part of or at least your youth.
Yeah.
And congratulations. I have no hesitation. I have no further questions. And as you said, you're very nervous sitting in front of us. You should not be nervous sitting in front of us, sir. You've done the right thing and you continue to do that now. Thank you, Chair.
Do either of you have any questions or comments?
I don't have any questions and I'm happy to echo the comments of my colleagues. I'm proud of you. You turned your life around and it's a credit to your hard work and your family that you were able to do that. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
My comments are to you, Mr. Romo, but to those who might be watching or following you, Commissioner Silver, thank you for, that perspective. We all have different lives before we got these interesting positions as regulators on the Gaming Commission. But, the speech has always been about, it's a privileged license. You got to be perfect. You got to do it better than anyone else. Your whole life's, transparent. And, so you've managed to navigate that and the conversation you have with the control board and you've had with us and you have with the pardons board, those are meaningful. I believe in second chances, but as a caution to you and your partners and to all of those who follow and to those who will be, in front of us, you got to do it right. We have standards and you have managed to wiggle through so many things that bring you today in front of us as somebody I'm going to support. But, it doesn't mean that those who have had indiscretions, who haven't performed and executed an extraction from an old world into a ideal and respected new one, it's hard and it's not automatic. But today, I think in the life you've lived, you've earned this opportunity. So I do intend to support your application today.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't have anything to add. Did you have?
I think
Anybody
because of Mr. Romo's unique situation, he wanted to give a bit of a presentation. We're happy to answer any questions if you have any for the other three gentlemen, but no need for an affirmative presentation on our end.
Does anyone else have any questions for anyone else who's here today in support of their application? All right, then is there anyone present who wishes to make a motion? I mean, obviously you're all present, you know what I mean?
I will.
Do one of you
Well,
wish to make a motion?
Madam Chair, I would move for approval of non-restricted items, I guess 1, 2, and 3, as read into the record by Madam Secretary and as recommended by the Nevada Gaming Control Board.
This is just restricted 1.
Oh, okay, 1, just 1.
For now.
Do I have to say it again? Do I have to say it again? I'm good. Okay, thank you.
I think the record can reflect that Commissioner Silver has made a motion to approve restricted item number 1 as recommended by the board. Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And there are none opposed.
Thank you.
Thank
Happy
you. Good
holidays.
luck. Madam Secretary, if you could please read in restricted items number 2 and 3.
Restricted number 2 is the application of BDS Town Square Reno LLC doing business as Stellar's Lounge for a restricted gaming license. It is also the applications of Bruce Familian, David Nolan, and Steve Uricchio for licensure as a member and or manager as noted on the agenda. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board on this item is for approval with conditions as noted on the agenda. Restricted number 3 is the application of BDS Town Square LLC doing business as Pine Ridge Tavern for a restricted gaming license. It is also the applications of Bruce Familian, David Nolan, and Steve Uricchio for licensure as a member and or manager as noted on the agenda. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board on this item is for approval.
Hello, Commissioners, and happy holidays. Chair Tagliati, I'm Greg Gimignani from the law firm of Dickinson Wright. Along with me are my colleague, Luke Federici, who's in Carson City. Today with us are Bruce Familian and Steve Uricchio in Carson City, and David Nolan, who's with me. We have a very brief oral presentation, if you'd like, and with your permission, I'll hand things over to Bruce Familian.
Please.
Good morning. I am Bruce Familian, one of the 3 applicants for the Pine Ridge Tavern and Stellar's Lounge and Grill. First, I want to thank Agent Raybould, who has been working very hard on these applications. Both these applications are located in the Somerset Master Plan development in Reno. This development includes several thousand homes. Both these locations have been closed for almost a year, and we are very excited to have gotten the opportunity to rebrand them with new decor, great food, and new management. I have been licensed in Nevada for 25 years and feel privileged to be part of the gaming community. We have spent almost a year working on this project and have invested over $750,000 in completing the remodeling of these locations. We opened the restaurant at Pine Ridge Tavern in July so we could serve the community during the summer months and looking forward to adding gaming devices. Pine Ridge Tavern is a non-smoking restaurant, and Stellar's Lounge will be a smoking bar with that will be separated from the eating area. Both these locations are lucky to have Steve Uricchio and one of the applicants and my partner prepare excellent experience for our customers. Steve has been a chef for several years and is very experienced in food preparation, giving an amazing customer quality product. In addition, I am privileged to have David Nolan, the other applicant, who has been by my side for the past 10 years. David has demonstrated excellent management and communication skills. I am very lucky to have both these partners help me bring these locations not only to the Somerset community, but to bring customers outside the community to visit our establishment. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. At this time, on restricted items 2 and 3, do any of my colleagues have any questions or comments?
I do, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Familian. Thank you, gentlemen, all of you, for being here. You know, Mr. Nolan, for a brief minute, I thought I would be forced to do it, well, not forced, but make a disclosure. I think we have some ancient history where our paths may have crossed in our early careers, very early careers, but good to see you if that is in fact true. Now, you'll be scratching your head afterwards and saying, what the heck is he talking about? And I'll research properly. But I have some questions from Mr. Uricchio too, if I may. And chef, well, you were a chef at Escoffier at some point, some of your training, is that right?
Yes, my father had sent me to Escoffier, and then I worked upstairs on top of the Beverly Hilton Hotel. I worked front of house by day doing Dover sole tableside and steak tartare, and when Jerry Gallon and Leo Waters, Jerry Gallon was the entertainment, Leo Waters was the maitre d' there, and then by night I worked the pantry all the way up to saute, And then downstairs in the ballroom is working banquets, the Golden Globe Awards, Academy Awards and such.
It's an excellent culinary background. I knew 2 days ago when I was reading on some articles, I knew you would be in front of us today, and I have to ask you, I don't know if you've actually seen the announcement that the Michelin group is now coming back to Nevada, and I was curious what your take is on that. They've just suddenly, they stopped rating restaurants with Michelin stars and have just announced in the last 48 hours that they're returning. I'm not sure if that's a good thing, a bad thing, or I'd like your opinions.
I think it's a great thing. You know, the culinary, when Spagos became famous and Wolfgang Puck's wife helped kind of out chefs out of the dining room or out of the kitchen into the dining room, and it became such a deal. Cordon Bleu kind of watered down the industry, and it was easy to get an application to be a chef when it wasn't easy before to be a CDC. And I think the Michelin rating kind of backed away from the industry because they felt it, without finding a better word, it kind of got cheapened and watered down, as I said. But I think that organization stepping back in and raising the standard again to getting recognized is important to hold chefs to a higher standard, if you will.
Yeah, the press had said that when they withdrew, there were only 2 Michelin-starred restaurants in Nevada. Joel Robuchon, I think at MGM, and then I think Guy Savoy got 1 star at Caesar's Palace. I'd like to think that them coming back into the market, and I'm again curious your thoughts, we would have way more than that today, the way this food and beverage market has exploded in Nevada. Your thoughts?
I mean, the Jean-Georges steakhouses, and mention a place right next to it, Bardo Brasserie, the stuff Michael Mina does. There's several restaurants, not to mention French Laundry, that deserve those ratings. They're all across the country, from New York to Chicago, has incredible restaurants. Las Vegas, a ton also.
Well, thank you for that, and excuse me that I digress. Of course, food is always an important subject in the Gaming Commission and the Gaming Control Board. Thank you, Chef. No hesitation supporting you, Mr. Familian, and the entire team. Thank you, Chair.
Anyone else have any questions or comments?
Chair, I do. Gentlemen, pleasure to see all of you today, either in person or on the screen. Mr. Familian, I know that we have met before. I'm just trying to figure out where it's been, but you are a familiar sight to me, and congratulations. You've demonstrated once again on why you're an A-lister on Southwest, because you're not down here.
Thank you very much.
I get a Christmas card, holiday card from Southwest also.
Yeah, I flew Spirit this time. It was really good.
And then, Mr. Riccio, you know, the Gaming Control Board and the Gaming Commission have a lot of foodies and culinary specialists. My family accuses me of being a food is fuel kind of guy, but certainly appreciate the skills that you bring to this. So this is all a wonderful story, and it is a wonderful story. But Mr. Nolan, I've just got to ask you some questions, if I might, and certainly the Gaming Control Board spent an excessive amount of time, and appropriately so, on your time with I think Affinity and the story there. And I don't want to belabor it, and I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable, but watching that and reviewing the notes, I'm still not quite sure how you worked in the industry from that 2018 point where you had an application that withdrawn into today. So, you know, whatever brought you forth to have an application in 18, how have you been operating for the past 7 years? What am I missing?
I think I can answer that. His application was not withdrawn in 2018. It was sent back to staff. And I think as one of the earlier presentations mentioned, as long as your application is still on file, you can continue in your position. And he continued in that position. At the time, I wasn't counsel for Nevada Gaming Partners, and another attorney was handling the matter. So I really don't know what transpired after that meeting, but the application is still on file. And at least as of last week, we've been in correspondence with the Gaming Control Board about providing supplemental information to that file. So it is still active. it is, to the extent it's been reactivated, it's activated. And actually, Mr. Nolan sent me something earlier that I need to send on to the Gaming Control Board this week to supplement that application that's been on file since the early, I guess it was
And I
2016.
appreciate that. It was my loose vocabulary is referred back to staff. So whose burden is it when it is in this regulatory purgatory of, is it, and Chair Dreitzer is raising his hand, Madam Chair, if I may ask Chair Dreitzer to speak. Through you to
please,
you,
as the
to Chair
chair.
Dreitzer.
It is what I would consider to be a gray area where we couldn't necessarily put an affirmative obligation on either party. But it is my point of view and the board's point of view that is a matter that should have been resolved and wasn't. So it's this board's intention to move forward to resolve it. And following today's hearing, we do intend to move forward with the activated application to clean it up, if you will. But it's certainly something that it sat in a gray zone for several years, unfortunately, and we have what we have, and we're going to fix it now.
Okay. Thank you, Chair Dreitzer. And that helps me a lot. So, and this is a control board issue matter, and I'm sure we'll be looking at those things administratively. And there are other applications that have been referred back to the board, and so we don't have this situation again. Mr. Nolan, we just had a conversation with an applicant about redemption and coming back. I know you've endured much this past, many years, but what you did was wrong. That I think you're authentically contrite, and I do believe in second chances, certainly, and I think you've earned it. And certainly with the team that's around you, led by Mr. Familian, I think they're a testimony to the fact that you will be crucial to the success of this endeavor. And I'm pleased to support your application today.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I'll just dovetail on to what he said. I watched the hearing, obviously, and I agree with Chair Dreitzer. It's almost like it's when you first look at something like this, put a 2-year limitation or something just to see how you're doing. But here you've been 7 years like in this black hole here with the board. So you've done a good job. And over the last 7 years, he called it like a de facto license, so to speak. And so, I mean, you're worthy, obviously, of approval. And I guess as to all of them up in the north, you did make me hungry the whole time. And it's not good because we don't even get lunch now. And but I was so impressed with the chef, the Academy Awards, Walter Matthau's personal chef. Wow. I mean, I would love to hear your stories, but anyway, I was really impressed by everything. And finally, I'd be kind of remiss if I didn't tell Mr. Familian that you remind me a little bit of Sammy Hagar. And so
I get that a lot.
I was like, is that Sammy Hagar that wants a license? Or yeah, I figured as much. So anyway, I'm in full support of all your applications. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any additional questions or comments at this time. Does anyone have a motion?
This is 2 and 3.
Madam Chair, I
2
move
and
for
3.
approval of restricted items number 2 and 3 is read into the record by Madam Secretary and recommended by the Gaming Control Board, including the conditions as discussed and recommended therein.
Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And there are none opposed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great holiday.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read in our next agenda item.
Next, for your consideration, you have one regulation item regarding proposed amendments to Nevada Gaming Commission Regulations 5, 20, 21, 22, 26A, 26B, and 26C as noted on the agenda.
Sorry. Oh, now it works.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the commission, Madam Secretary. For the record, I'm Ed McGaw with the Nevada Attorney General's Office, here today to present the commission with proposed amendments to regulations read into the record by Madam Secretary. You should have before you a draft dated December 4th, 2025, and an addendum to that draft dated December 8th, 2025. If adopted by the commission today, the amendment, including those set forth in the addendum, would become effective January 1st, 2026. As you're aware, a workshop on these proposed changes. How does it? My mic keeps shutting off. Apologies. As you were, December 4th, 2025, during the workshop, I presented a lengthy overview of the proposed changes. Rather than repeat the presentation, I shall incorporate it by reference into the record here today. In addition to myself, Audit Division Chief Rusty LeBlanc and Audit Agent Wendy Bullware are also present and would be happy to answer any questions the commissioners may have. The proposed amendments primarily stem from the passage of Senate Bill 203 and Assembly Bill 58 during the 2025 legislative session. These amendments include the repeal of provisions addressing licensed disseminators, the amendment or repeal of provisions relating to live broadcast, the amendment or repeal of provisions necessary to accommodate the conversion of parimutuel system operators from a licensees to registered service providers, the repeal of provisions addressing cash access and wagering instrument service providers, and the repeal of provisions addressing global risk management. As mentioned earlier, there is an addendum to the proposed draft voted on by the board at its December 4th, 2025 workshop. The addendum provides two additional amendments that the board staff feels would be appropriate. The first amendment contained in the addendum is the addition of flush language to NGC Regulation 5.240, subsection 2. This language addresses how the board and commission will deal with existing licensed parimutuel system operators. Essentially, any such licensee would be automatically registered with the board as a parimutuel system service provider as of the date the respective legislation became effective, which would be May 31st, 2025. Under the proposed amendment, any converted registration will expire 5 years after the commission issued the respective parimutuel system operator license or on June 30th, 2026, whichever is later. The 5-year period was chosen since that is how long a service provider registration lasts. And the June date was chosen to give long-term existing licensees adequate time to apply to renew their registration. The next change is addressed the next change addressed in the addendum is a minor amendment to subsection 3 of Regulation 22.080. This change simply replaces the phrase in-house rules with the phrase in the books house rules. It was suggested by the industry that this would clarify where the book is required to state the redemption period. In addition to the above changes, the board has proposed multiple non-substantive changes intended to standardize terminologies and cross-references to better align with the formats used by the LCB in the Nevada Administrative Code and the NRS. With that, I conclude my affirmative presentation. Be happy to answer any questions the commissioners have. And as you are aware, during the workshop, Audit Division Chief Rusty LeBlanc did a thorough presentation on the history of disseminators in Nevada. I'm not sure if the chair wishes that presentation to be repeated in an abridged format. We are prepared to do that if you want to, or we can just move on with the agenda.
Does any commissioner request that abridged version, or can we move on? Okay, can move on.
Okay, thank you.
Chair Tagliani, may I?
Yes.
So Senior Deputy Attorney General McGaw and all, Gaming Control Board folks and team in the audience, somebody who's lived in regulations for a long time in my past roles with the state, I know how hard all of this is and the effort. So just kudos on all of you for having this broad scope of regs brought back to us for consideration, whether it's they're obsolete, whether the legislature, whatever bill that was, SB 203, changed the appropriateness of some of these regs. But again, it's just a comprehensive task, and you've tackled it exceedingly well. My just clarification, and I think I had it in the second binder, but can you just confirm, please, that the cyber incident reporting and in incident, I know is a term that was grappled with, but that particular piece will be reworked, or you'll have another workshop in January for that piece?
Well, Commissioner, the plan
Am I
is
in the
with-
wrong spot here?
Well, that reg, we pushed back it is going to go before you
Later.
in January.
Okay, so I'm just
So, yeah.
confirming that.
But the workshop we held did cover that regulation as well, and we did make appropriate changes. But the
But the
it's gonna be-
30-day trigger.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Yeah.
No, I understand. I'm confirming that it's not ready to be heard
Oh,
by
no.
us, and but that conversation has been had, but that's not in front of us today.
Correct.
All right. No, we're on the same page. I didn't articulate that well. And I also appreciate Mr. Rubenstein. You did some heavy lifting on your end. Appreciate that. Mr. Roberts, I heard you, and I don't know if you have comments to make today, but I believe, that dissenter, the disseminator, that's not something that's been in my wheelhouse, and it was very informative, and your family's history for the 40 years, but certainly heard your comments. But again, I just, with that clarification of what we're not doing today, I'm happy to support the regs has been elbow greased and debated and brought in front of us today. I'll support.
Anyone else have any questions or comments?
I just wanted to echo Commissioner Krowicki's that I really appreciate all the work that went into, bringing this to us. Also having sat on rules and regulation committees, it's a daunting task to go over. So I'm really appreciative of all the hard work everybody put in on their own time. So thank you.
And I would say that, the acknowledgement is important for sure. There is a lot of work that goes into this. And I also want to thank Jose as our employee of the month permanently forever, until such time as he decides otherwise, which I refuse to acknowledge as a possibility ever. We appreciate the effort you put in on our behalf as well, just to kind of get me up to speed on what's going on at all times. So thank you for that. Excuse me. If there's no other comments or questions, I know I speak for the whole commission when I thank you for your efforts. And that includes staff and the industry that takes time out of their day to come and go to the workshops and be heard. We need you, and we need to hear from you. And so with that said, does someone have a motion?
Certainly. Madam Chair, I move to adopt the proposed amendments to NGC Regulations 5, 20, 21, 22, 26A, 26B, and 26C, as presented in the draft dated December 4, 2025, and the addendum dated December 8, 2025, as recommended by Nevada's Gaming Control Board, and to become effective January 1st, 2026. Thank you.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and there are none opposed. Thank you.
That's how accounting firms say 20, 30, 40, 50, 20, third tie, fourth tie, fifth tie, because it doesn't get confused with other numbers. My father was bought a house for 100 years. That's why. I heard.
Well, here's the thing, the court reporter probably hasn't have that knowledge. When you say 20, it's 20. I'm just making a record. Okay, so so there was a question whether Commissioner Marcantonus included in the motion 5, 20, 21, 22, 26A, 26B, and 26C. And what he was saying was we all heard 20 or 25, and it was really a reference to 20 based upon a very cultured and worldly view.
Accountant. Sorry.
That's okay. But I don't know that the court reporter would catch it. So that's why I'm making this record. Okay, with that said, we're moving on to our last agenda item, public comments. Oh, I'm sorry, we're not moving on. We are going to our next agenda item, administrative reports first.
Very good. Thank you, Chair Togliatti. The January 2026 GCB meeting will be held on Wednesday, January 15th in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're scheduled for a one-day meeting beginning at 9 a.m. The non-restricted agenda will have, we anticipate 15 items, followed by 8 restricted items. We will also have 1 excluded person nomination and 4 proposed amendments to certain further regulations to be considered. Thank you.
Thank you. How about from the Office of the Attorney General today?
No, nothing today, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time then, Madam Secretary, if we could close with our last agenda item, public comments.
This item is placed on the agenda to give the public an opportunity to comment on gaming related matters.
Okay, I'm going to go to Carson City first. Anyone wishing to make a public comment, please step forward to the podium. There being no one present in public, no one present to make public comment in Carson City. Here in Las Vegas, there appears to be no one present to make any additional public comment, and that will close our public comment section. This concludes the Nevada Gaming Commission meeting for the month of December. We are adjourned. Thank you.